You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
They confuse us with so much life. exercise. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the Lord. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. Thank you, make them oppress us stay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray. Then I'll be up to judgment day. Oh, just can't make it this way. Please deliver us today. Be like the Israelites did. Please send us another Moses again. Lord, we just can't make it this way. Yes, deliver us today. Oh, we just can't go on this way. No, we just can't make it this way. Please listen to what I say. Yes, hurry up with judgment day. We just can't make it this way. No, we just can't make it this way. Must we get old and gray? And the children can't see their way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. We like the Israelites living there. Please send us another Jesus again. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Lord, we just can't go this way. Lord, we just can't make it this way. No, 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 no.
Help! Somebody help me! I'm looking for Jacka. Oh yeah, he try to go around the country now. I don't know what to do again. Looking to buy a donkey to sell coconut in town. Can't afford to buy a pickup to tote me nuts around. So I gone up in the country looking for jackets to buy. But everybody I check, they keep on telling me. They say up here do a donkey, aliment a plenty. Up here do a donkey, aliment a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, aliment a plenty. If you want to find real donkey, aliment a plenty. Donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey for sewing day, donkey with PhD, doctorate, law degree, donkey that dance for sew, don't know from head to toe. Looking for a donkey, you want to find real donkey. Fat donkey, maga donkey, any kind you can get it. Oh, you fucking. I went down south in Rancho and also Lopino. fight of Mondo Nevo and Brasso Seco. They say it have a old man, he bound to have a few. But when I check the old man, he and all same too. He say, up here do a donkey, Parliament a plenty. Up here do a donkey, Parliament a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, Parliament a plenty. If you want to find real donkey, Parliament a plenty. Donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day. Donkey with weave and rats, even bald head jackass. Donkey that straight and gay, donkey that old and grey. Looking for a donkey, you're looking for a donkey. Oh, she ain't no shiny donkey. I know what black donkey, grey donkey. What you telling me about? Oh, yeah. Hey, oh, yeah. I wonder if I rain happen. They said that donkey looking like Saddam, and some looking like Madam. Long time had plenty donkey all over the country. You coulda buy 2 or 3, easy. But since it have a shortage of jackass, so they say, just wait until election when they come out to pray. Up here do a donkey, Parliament a plenty. Up here do a donkey, Parliament a plenty. If you're looking for a donkey, Parliament a plenty. If you want to see real donkey, Parliament a plenty. Donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day, donkey for sowing day. Donkey in suit and tie, who love the mama guy. Drunk and corrupt donkey, that like to lie plenty. Looking for a donkey. So here you want to find real donkey in right the road. Oh boy, you have the national pride. They up in the red house now. They going back up there. I never go up there before. Boy, ask people now. Looking for a donkey. You up and down the country. I feel like go check out my partner Ronnie, you know. The old donkey man, he must know where I could get some. Because they looking to send me in prison or something, you know.
This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-As, Maraval and Saint-Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing. Money is getting. That's why PNM quite on turned coat to UNC. And Wendell Motley, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Motley, the speaker, swore PNM till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka sing, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard you and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC. Bye. I lie. Oh, die, die, die. Oh, yeah, lie. This thing called BNM, this thing called UNC, is only a power play to get our sympathy. It's not about African, it's neither East Indian. It had nothing to do with anybody's religion. Kamaluddin is a Muslim, Mahathir Christian to the brim. Yet Montano the mulatto, different race, same party, you know. Johnny Milton and Rex are one, are two Chinese politicians. And while both of them love PNN, Brian Whiteton had a problem. Them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Right through, Richmond does be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. The name Steve Ferguson is really an East Indian who with Ishak Galbaran sing, both parties they financing. Joey Saw and Emil Elias are PNM Lebanese, and yet Saka of the same cast helps UNC pay their fees. Syrian businessman John Rahel, PNM make him mayor. An African wave mark as well, UNC made him minister. PNM's fundraising dinner had businessmen of all color. So it's only stupidity, you and me. It's PNM and UNC. I like. This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, it foolishly splitting we on the grounds of ethnicity. It make friends mash up fast, race hatred it unmasked. It cause ignorant people to bring out their gun and cutlass. And while poor people arguing about who good and who should win, the leaders jumping like monkey from one party to party. Just look at Arthur Sanderson, Horace Brooms is the next one. Of course they could skip, they deserve a pick for hop, step and jump next Olympics. Look here, them French Creoles in St. Anne's, Marabal and St. Clair, tell them they don't know allegiance or no party here. Richmond will be supporting who they feel going to win. That's right. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. Halsey Bagan left UNC to open she own party. Kamala Bissessa now previously she run wrong to UNC. Abu Bakr supported all three and now he fund nobody. Errol McLeod walking wrong daily, so you can't say which side he be. A&R, my good friend, walked out on Eric Williams years ago, and yet last year he would say how he loved Eric for so. Ralph Maraj and Manning get away, and Ralph was UNC next day, and yet Curtis you cussing stupid me for PNM and UNC. God bless. Alice Liverpool. sisters. Hey, Chucky. Hey, Lion. Come over, don't be doing. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for cutting the message. This thing called PNL, this thing called UNC, it don't mean one blessed thing to Britain, France, and Germany. It don't hold no water for Clinton and John Major. Them don't care who in power once they collect their cadre. When Clinton buy oil and sugar, no party doesn't matter. Them greenbacks that Clinton send we, Mark and Jack or UNC. That's why Deborah Mickens lately for the Tobago Assembly. I say hats off to she for thinking like me when you see it independently. Them French Creoles, Vincent, that's Barabal and St. Clair. Tell them
they don't know allegiance or no party here.
Rich men just be supported who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends means nothing. Money is nothing. Abu Bakr left BNM, open his own party. Moving as some run from A&R to now, then he run back by UNC. Morgan Job joined now recently, cause he say that he love Robbie. But while he in now bodily, he mind still up in UNC. Party in TNT, money is their ideology. That's why Brian White don't tell me he ain't taking over our poverty. Ramesh Maharaj costing money, but do you know he was PNM years ago? So would somebody show me the morality in PNM and UNC? Alive. God bless.
You get up one morning, your elders have something. You don't know how they get it, but you want to use it. But if you ask them old people to get the things what they went through, ask them this any day, and your parents sure to say, black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're able to get a pulley and jam with the devil. Why? Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind, brother, that you're ready to swim offshore and hold your boat steady. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon, now you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. You get up one morning, and oil money running. How it come you don't know, so that it care how the thing go. But if they read about Uriah, they wanna find out the pressure. How we get so much old hell to get a penny from TLL. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something, with that eagle eye you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. say we got up one morning, independence happening, getting the thing come easy. Now they're taking liberty, but if they know about petition, we have to send to England for some woman to tell we in this colony free. Black man have to keep on jabbing, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jabbing, for black man to get a little something. People hold you, humiliate you, turn on and sell you, and then they free you. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. So when you hear you get a little something with that dragon, now you keep watching, because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy. So when a black man gets something, he got to start thinking. To get it there easy, he got to practice economy. From getting licks from the slave master to become the land owner, brother, is a terrible journey, packed with plenty brutality. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to rise up, you got to stand up, pick up your mind, you will always stay on top. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to go to conference in England to get independence in your own land. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money, pay people for your own refinery. Black man have to keep on jamming, for black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, to make money out of scrap iron.
Keep me as the apple of thine eye. Hide me under the shadow of thy wing. O Lord, my Savior. It's so hard to deal with personal struggle. So sad when you feel alone in your trouble. It's real hard when you want to talk to a brother. It's so bad because of how some look at you after. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my head. Satan want me dead. Cover my back from human attack. So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. People see you smile, but don't know the hurt that you're feeling. Even as God's child, at times your heart does be bleeding. Where can you go when you're really looking for healing? Who know how to flow when your soul needs some restoring? So Jesus, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover me home from evils unknown. Cover my feet so I'll never retreat. Oh Lord, come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Come and be while you fix it. Jesus, come and be. Cover my brother, cover my sister, them who under pressure. Cover the preacher, every church worker, the young believer. Cover the worship leader and intercessor, every gospel minister. Cover. Jesus alone is the one who have the real answer. The one on the throne is the true and loving Father. He will hold your hand and keep you from going under. He will make you stand and let You know he's a fixer. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover me, man. You know the struggle sometimes. Cover me mouth, that the wrong thing wouldn't come out. Oh, cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Cover me while you fix it. Jesus, cover me. Cover the Christian in the midst of aggression with the power of your right hand. Jesus, cover, cover, cover them helpless children. Jesus, defend them. Send help from heaven. Jesus, cover, cover, cover all them radio stations that blessing the nation. Grant divine protection. Jesus, cover, cover, cover. Cover me. Cover me. Cover me.
Truer words were never spoken. The less you associate with some people, the more your life will improve. Anytime you tolerate mediocrity in others, it increases your mediocrity. An important attribute in successful people is their impatience with negative thinking and negative acting people. As you grow, your associates will change. Some of your friends will not want you to go on. They will want you to stay where they are. Friends that don't help you climb will want you to crawl. Your friends will stretch your vision or choke your dream. Those that don't increase you will eventually decrease you. Consider this. Never receive counsel from unproductive people. Never discuss your problems with someone incapable of contributing to the solution, because those who never succeed themselves are always first to tell you how. Not everyone has a right to speak into your life. You are certain to get the worst of the bargain when you exchange ideas with the wrong person. Don't follow anyone who's not going anywhere. With some people you spend an evening. With others, you invest it. Be careful where you stop to inquire for directions along the road of life. Wise is the person who fortifies his life with the right friendships. If you run with wolves, you will learn how to howl. But if you associate with eagles, you will learn how to soar to great heights. A mirror reflects a man's face, but what he is really like is shown by the kind of friends he chooses. The simple but true fact of life is that you become like those with whom you closely associate, for the good and the bad. Note, be not mistaken. This is applicable to family as well as friends. Yes, do love, appreciate, and be thankful for your family, for they will always be your family, no matter what. Just know that they are human first, and though they are family to you, they may be a friend to someone else and will fit somewhere in the criteria above. In prosperity, our friends know us. In adversity, we know our friends. Never make someone a priority when you are only an option for them. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters. Excellence is not an exception. It is a prevailing attitude.
Let me say a special hello to all the WZYE 95.9 FM listeners. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And we come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, yes, I am broadcasting to you live and direct from in my car. Yes, that's absolutely correct. And don't forget, doesn't matter what color t-shirt you wear a mauve t-shirt, you wear a burgundy t-shirt, you wear a purple t-shirt, each and everyone is welcome in the village to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Doesn't matter what planet you're from, they're from Mazatanias, Venuranias, Xenoranias. Each and everyone is welcome in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. Let me bring in 1/3 of the DAT triplets. No other than, let me just add everybody at the same time. Let me bring in 1/3 of the DAT triplets. No other than Diana, Waveney, Stormy, the Storm, the glasses wearing, the Bajan, the Trin Bagonian, the poet, the poetress, the motivational speaker from a certain part of St. Barbados. St. Barbados, yes, St. Barbados. That start with ST. No other than Diana, Waveney, Stormy, Benskin, Greta, McDonald, boy.
My left hand biting me, itching me, so I mean, I'm gonna get some money tomorrow. I'm gonna rub it on
Yeah,
my head.
you got a few cents. Don't worry yourself. You're safe.
Yeah. No, I don't know, all right. Itching me. Whenever my left hand itch, I get money.
Yeah, okay. You left-handed? Is that left-handed?
Huh?
Is that left-handed?
No, I'm not a left-hander.
Oh,
But I
you ever
can be
get left-hand?
left-handed for certain tasks.
You ever get
But
left-hand
anyway,
dumpling?
what?
You ever get left-hand dumpling?
I get left hand, ambidextrous, right hand, all kind of dumpling already.
All right, okay, all right. Let me bring
Yeah.
in the other 1/3 of the DAT triplets. That's the DAT triplets, Diana, Anselm, and Tommy. No other than Thomas E. Marshall, the commissioner in Newark. He went to school in Palo Seco. I don't know how he got there, but he went to school in Palo Seco. No other than the commissioner, Thomas E. Marshall, the Palo Seconian, Nesbitt, boy.
Good evening, family. Good evening. And I see that you're in your car, as you said, but so you can pay the toll and come into the village.
So me, I've been sitting here. I have to go through the Lincoln Tunnel. Eh? I don't know if the Lincoln Tunnel have internet. So I only might lose me when I'm going through the tunnel. So just prepare. I'm stuck here in traffic. I'm in Manhattan.
I believe both tunnels have internet at this time.
All right. Because the last time I went through the Holland Tunnel and I was safe. So I'll try the Lincoln Tunnel for the first time. So we go see how it work out. Right? But you know, it's just interesting that you can do a program and you're still on the road and you could continue to do your program. I mean, technology, yeah?
We've come a long way. If we and next is artificial intelligence, boy.
AI, boy, taking over.
And what you think is the birth of all this technology? Disruption. Because if you didn't disrupt the status quo, the normal way of doing things, we would never come, be the normal way to get a taxi was, you call and you'll be calling back and the place busy and they're trying to hunt down a car. Now what you do? Uber, Lyft, and your car comes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Innovation, disruption. I believe when in a disruptive setting, that's when innovation thrives.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
Necessity is the mother of invention, boy. Correct is right. Yeah, so they invented all these things so we don't have to sit home anymore.
Yeah, boy.
Do so many things. You don't need to have a laptop anymore. You could use your phone now. The phone is like a laptop now. You know? Now we don't just have Siri now. We have Siri Pro now. Yeah, man. You could ask Siri all different type of questions with Siri Pro. Man, time's changing, man.
What I have a problem with, I have a smart TV. Well, I have a smart oven too. And I'm getting a smart fridge Friday because this other one on the blink. So I'm watching TV, right? And all of a sudden TV gonna ask me if I'm still there.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Well,
I have a problem with that. I want to know how the TV know I'm still or I fell asleep or you understand?
What happens is that there's a timer on the control, and if you did nothing within a certain amount of time, it checks to see if you're there, just to make sure that you didn't fall asleep.
Well, I don't like that.
That's for your energy consumption.
But
I
why
still don't like it.
Why you get a smart TV then? You should get unintelligent TV.
That's what it's selling, Anselm. That's what it's selling, you know.
No, tell them you want a smartless TV.
Tell them I want a smart. Up to now, I don't know how to put on the light in the oven without opening the door.
Just say lights, please.
I plan to ask Siri to turn it on for me one day and see.
Did you try knocking?
Try knocking? I don't know, boy. I want to see what the fridge gonna do now. Do to me.
Because I saw one commercial where you knock and the light came on.
But you know what that's like? That's like when you're sitting down in a room with the light, and the light is like the sensor is like any movement in the room. So like if you're sitting down in the room and you haven't had any movement for like a minute, the light will just turn off.
That's right.
And if you just move, it goes right back on.
But I can understand the sensor. I don't like the TV coming up and asking me and sometimes I have my phone in front of me. I ain't want no Siri, no Alexa, no nothing, and it just starts to pick up my conversation.
Well, that's what smartphones do. They are listening all the time. Big Brother is watching and listening to you.
Yeah, boy, it picks up. I mentioned something about hearing, and Siri or Alexa, whoever is on there, tells me, okay, I will go look for earrings for you. I didn't ask you nothing.
How often you having a conversation and you open your phone and just what you're talking about shows up on your screen?
Yeah, but
Watch yourself, and be careful, no. That's smart TV, no. What part of your room it in?
Me, the TV right here in my living room.
Mine need to ask you some other questions too, you know.
Yeah, I have one in my bed in each bedroom too. So you have to be careful. But I saw in the news one time. I saw in the news one time where a case was hinged upon Alexa or Siri recording the actual person who committed the crime, and they had to get a court order or something to release the Siri and Alexa record. And when they did it, when they looked into it, apparently they found evidence that person committed the crime. Yeah, boy. And when you go places, your cell phone pinging off of towers.
That's right. Can be traced by your movement, can be tracked by the cell phone.
And AI Anselm. And then now they're telling people put air tags in their luggage in case their luggage get lost or stolen. They'll go right where they are. I think I find it. So don't be thieving people luggage. What next? And Bill Gates, he has concerns about AI.
Of course he does, because he knows what it can do and what can happen. Not only, I think.
Go ahead.
I think one of the main concerns with AI is misinformation.
Yeah, misinformation and rogue elements. Rogue.
I think Bill Gates only upset because Microsoft might have been late to the game. Microsoft might have been late to the game, so they're a little upset.
And this here is a very knowledgeable doctor friend of mine in the UK. She says to please direct your children, friends, and colleagues to embrace a career in informatics, Python. I know Snake to be Python, right? Cyber intelligence, artificial intelligence, data analytics, bioinformatics, CompTIA A+, 1000, and OpenAI's ChatGPT-4. In technology, remember, age is just a number. So those are the fields that children, people need, they're going to have a need for in the future, along with that, but crying need for that now. So,
Wow,
Yeah.
1975. I got into that.
Well, of course, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Keisha was in first. Tell me that's who you got, right?
No, I see the village sweetheart first. Let me look on again.
You have to reconfigure me, Anselm, that I can go into the program with this phone. But we'll do that another time.
What time are you showing Takesha Anselm?
So I have to go in.
It ain't showing no time on my phone.
I see Nadia first at 4:01.
Okay, yeah, I think my phone is showing. So you go ahead, Tommy. You do it because my phone is showing.
Okay, we
My phone
showing
might be
Nadia.
showing after that.
Nadia 1st,
Mm-hmm.
Nadia second. She said, "Good night, Anselm. Good night, everyone." First, then Anselm, good night. Then she says, "Good night" to me, and next to the storm. After that, I see Visha Rambaran.
That's Nadia's too, or her daughter.
Well, her daughter says, "Good night, everyone." And she says, "Good night" again to Anselm. And then Nadia again, saying good night to Keisha. We have Nadia again, greeting Albert, Rennie, Hailey, Vonnie.
Oh, of course, we'll be calling Rennie the village poet. Right? He come in with, love is all
No,
around. Love
Rennie.
is all around in many ways can be seen. Even make a wonderful song. Hey, he rhyming for star boy. Don't take love for granted in what you do or say. Claim your contented share of love today. Woo!
Anyway, Nadia reaches out to most of the normal villagers: Ellis, Troy, Ulrich, Visha. Then we have Rennie, of course. You know who Rennie is? That's the Storm's boyfriend. He says good evening.
Who's that? The love doctor?
Yeah, the love doctor.
Yeah.
The love doctor is next.
Nadia says, yeah, Visha, that's her daughter.
Yeah, because my thing showing when Takesha came in, it starts off with Takesha, then Takesha again, then Takesha.
Yeah, I see Takesha. Takesha came in after Vonnie Roberts, and it was 6:42 that she came in after Vonnie Roberts. She said good night, everyone. And
Denise G, all up in your Kool-Aid answer. She want to know where you're going.
So we have Takesha giving greetings, sending out greetings to Anselm. And next to Diana, and next to me, and then Nadia, Carice, Lana, Judy, Rose, Miss Coover, Erica, John. And that's Takesha again to the guys now. Albert, Ulrich, Rennie.
Anselm, Hailey wants to know if your wife threw your clothes in a garbage bag or you're in the car again.
No. That's farmer nappy. Put farmer nappy clothes in a garbage bag, not my clothes.
You know they're gonna run with that, right?
Yeah, I good. I good. I safe. Vonnie Roberts says, Anselm, after hearing you on all the radio talk shows on Dr. Rowley, have you written to the Howard University on your opinion why you should not be given the Doctor of Honors? Why writing Howard for? Eh? I listen, I stay in my lane, you know.
Right, and focusing on what needs attention as opposed to distraction.
Yeah, I stay in my lane. I go, why writing Howard for?
We distraction proof. Hey, good night, Albert. How are you doing tonight, my friend?
Hey, Albert is here. Good night, Albert.
Yeah. Yeah,
Albert is
but
here. I see him.
No. I didn't see him either, but I'm just saying good night to him because.
Good night, Albert, if you're listening.
And again, condolences on your loss. Hope all is well.
Heidi says what? I have on my glasses. The future is bright when we follow God, path, peace, harmony, and joy villagers. Wataks. Heidi, do you follow the Bible or the Quran? You know?
Well, whatever book he follows, I'm sure it means well.
Yeah. Heidi says, Rolly get Harvard Award for oppressing Trinbagonians. Heidi. Oh God, Heidi. Rennie says, they have a saying, everybody just get what they deserve. Correct is right.
The only thing is that they had some of the information incorrect as describing.
That was bad. That was a bad look.
Him as the first Tobagonian in the prime ministerialship, which is wrong.
But Tommy, how could they get that wrong, man?
Again, like we always say, if you do the research, you get it right. If you don't, so things are consistent.
I think that make everything, that put everything into question. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That you could get something as important as that wrong.
Yep. That even though it's 10%, it may be 10%.
Yeah, but that's important.
That's too important a situation to get that wrong.
Yeah. So I'm entering the tunnel now. That's where the dark go a little bit. Yeah, I'm in the tunnel now. So we're gonna see if this thing works.
Yeah, you'll be all right. We may not see you as clearly as you go through, but I think communication is gonna be consistent.
Yeah. So I think that is kind of sad that an important point like that they messed it up. You know, that he was the first prime minister of Trinidad, first Tobagonian to be prime minister.
And then there's some other information that is questionable also, you know?
Correct. There is some other information that's very questionable. And you know, Tommy and Diana, we as a people of the country, forget about PNM and UNC, right? We should be questioning that if you are going to give someone a prestigious honorary degree as a degree from one of the top HBCUs in this world, you need to get the information right. You cannot get it wrong. You just cannot get it wrong. Because if you get it wrong, you mess everything up. And that's exactly what they did. They make a mess of the whole thing. Right? So now, I mean, I understand that people are writing to Howard and want them to take back the degree and all kind of thing like that. I mean, you think Howard go take back any degree?
Nope. And nobody's saying take back the degree, but if you did something wrong, right the wrong. Be man enough and humble enough to right your wrong and keep it moving.
You know, Tommy, I think that would have been the right thing to do, to come out and say, listen, we apologize. We made a mistake. You know, we should have said A&R Robinson instead of Dr. Rowley. Right? There were other things that we maybe needed to do, you know, a little more research on, and we did not. And we want to apologize to the people of Trinidad and Tobago.
They could have said the first PNM Prime Minister from Tobago or the second Tobagonian, and that would have been correct.
Yeah. But they messed that up really, really bad. You know? And that's kind of sad. And listener, I learned more information with respect to why Dr. Wayne Frederick got the ORTT. And based on that information, it might appear to be very plausible why he get it. But the question is, why didn't they give us that information with respect to the reason why he got the ORTT?
I mean, there's no question that he's a high achiever and he deserves it.
No question about that. So you know what? I see it's about 7:59. So let's go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming to you directly now from inside the Lincoln Tunnel. Oh boy. Yeah, you never get a program yet coming to you directly from the Lincoln Tunnel on your way to New Jersey. So stick and stay. It's Dinah, Anselm, Tommy, and you in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We'll be right back after.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have fought a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we. From India and some came from Africa. Look today, their descendants are here, coexisting together. There are others who came here too, the Chinese, Syrians and such. Native people are just a few in this land that we love so much. But the politics of the day and the love for a party cause people to begin to say them is them and we is we. From now on this country is we. From now on we all shall be one. From now on that's how it shall be. From now on all division done. As today united we stand, the people of Trinbago. One country, one nation, one island. Chutney Pan and Calypso. It's Trinidad and Tobago, better known as TNT. And we want the whole world to know we see ourselves as we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we.
And of course, it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have coming up at 8:15. Diana, can you say that our guests are coming up at 8:15?
Yeah. What's his name again? Webb. I don't have access to info here.
He's a political activist, right?
I have to go into my I have some things I'm dealing with here now. Woo. Ooh.
But he should be joining us. Matthew
Gibbs. Matthew Gibbs. Matthew Gibbs.
Matthew Gibbs joining us at about.
Yeah, he has a show, Divided Opinion. On the Divided Opinions, yes, on the media. So, and then interesting conversations he has, you know. Yeah, Matthew.
Yeah, let me say welcome to Denise G. Denise, welcome. You inside? Hailey, you inside? Raj V, boy. Raj V, you inside? Okay, I don't get my glasses, boy. Some of them things I can't read now. Let me see if I have glasses here. Let me try and put on the spectacles here. Ooh, all right, here we go. I support all it can be used to discover of mysterious of the world. It is a wonder mind. All right. Rennie says, Diana, you sure it's not Jumbie or the TV? Oh God. Diana, hear that? Diana. All right. Maybe Diana didn't hear that. So folks.
Yeah, we getting a good plug here, Anselm, on the show.
On the show?
Yeah, you want to hear it?
Okay.
Amen.
So what is up, guys? Hope everybody's great. Thanks for joining me right here on Divided Opinions. You can also follow me on my TikTok account. But let me tell you one thing. At 8:15 tonight, that's right, tonight, the 18th of May, 2023, you all can follow me. Let me tell you where. Right here on 95.9 WZYEFM.com, the voice of the Caribbean. I've been invited on their show tonight to discuss some of the trending topics that affect each and every one of us right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So, all right, so join me right there tonight. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, spread the word, and let's see how we can fix DAT one step at a time. Love you all. Be safe. Make the right choice.
All right.
All right, there we go.
All right, Anselm. We in the house, boy.
We inside, we inside.
No doubt.
Yeah, hear that, Tommy? We inside.
We inside with Privy Council.
Inside, boy. Inside.
Inside the Privy Council.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's see that verdict from the Privy Council, boy.
That's what I segue to.
What happened to the Privy Council? Remind me what happened to the Privy Council now?
Privy Council say.
I think we need to go back to them just.
Oh, you mean about the election?
You say you can't put it off no more.
Yeah.
He said it is not legal and it's not right to put it off.
But what do they hope to achieve by putting it off, and what is their logic in putting it off? And
Diana, I'm sure Diana can guess why it's put off in one swoop.
No, why would you want to put off the election? Why would you want to do that?
Think about it. If I'm in charge of calling the election and I call it, why do you think I wouldn't call it? If I think I'll win, I'll call it, no?
Yeah, you have a point there, but I wanted to pull it out of you. So you're saying that they wanted to delay or postpone because their chances ain't looking too good?
I think
they did delay it. They put it off till this year, and they appealed it, and the case went to the Privy Council,
and they said no.
Council said what they did was illegal.
Oh
no,
boy.
The Privy Council said what they did by postponing it was illegal because we have a representative democracy, and in a representative democracy, you vote to put the people in power. A person cannot just go now, all right, and him can't just go and change the laws and extend a person's time because we vote for you for that time. We vote for you for like 3 years, for example. The government can now just come and say, you know what? We are postponing law. Not what a representative democracy is all about. So the Privy Council uphold the appeal, so they're saying that the government was wrong in what they did. So I don't know what is going to happen, but maybe when the young man come in, maybe he could give us a little update on that.
Probably.
To find out what's the next step. Is that going to cost the government money? Because, of course, going before the Privy Council, you had to hire attorneys and all this kind of thing.
Well, it's clear as that the reason why they postponed it is because they weren't certain about a victory.
Well, I don't know if that. Tommy, that is an assumption, right?
Yeah, that's assumption.
Vonnie is what? The best guest to get on the show is Twiggy. Vonnie, go and let's tell him, go and pee and go in your bed.
leave one here alone, eh? Leave one here.
Oh.
One is the father of WZYE, eh? Bunny, sometimes there is things you don't talk publicly.
True.
I'll leave it there.
Highly. Rennie, no disrespect. This was just a piece of insight. Even baby knows to go to a woman for love.
Say that again?
Even Highly is telling Rennie, no disrespect. This is just a piece of insight. Even babies know to go to a woman for love.
Okay. All right. So Highly giving Rennie words, Highly giving the love doctor words of wisdom now. All right. Yeah, so this thing with the Privy Council, I think it's time that Trinidad and Tobago go to the Caribbean Court of Justice, make the Caribbean Court of Justice as the highest appeal court.
That's right.
I think it's time
rather than having to go all the way to but listen to this. How come this case get heard so quickly? How come this was done so quickly?
But Anselm, I think money would be saved if we would just have set days set in stone as election days as we have here. You see how we have election days set for eons to come here in the United States? That's what we have to do in Trinidad. Have election days set and it's set in stone. That's that.
That should be it. So you are correct.
Yeah, so nobody could mock you around.
The government could come and say, you know what? We changing the date of the election because of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. No, that's not what a democracy is all about. And that's what happened.
The way the Constitution is written, it leaves too much room for dictatorship.
So when are we going to change the Constitution?
They like
how come the people in March?
They like it
how come the people?
When they realize that the ballot is stronger than the bullet, that's when the Constitution will change.
We like it so. When we in power, we do what we want.
I don't think the people like it so though.
The politicians do.
Oh, Tommy, here we go. Here we go, Tommy.
Yeah, they would make all these grandiose promises and when campaigning, and once they get into power, they do what they think is best to keep them in power.
But Tommy, if the voting populace does not let the political leaders know what the priorities are, and you're telling them over and over and over again. And how are you going to let them know, hey, this is what we want fixed? Yeah, we voted for you, but how do you look what happened in Florida? You see, there's a work slow, a work stoppage, a work slow down, a work no work because of what that man is doing.
Danny, you think that will work in Trinidad? You think that will work in Trinidad?
What?
A work stoppage or a stay home or something like that. You think that will work in Trinidad?
The Trinbagonians have their priorities all twisted.
No, but you see, victimization is what takes place in that society that creates.
You can't walk with fear. You can't have fear if you want change. You have to, your back have to be broad.
Diana, we could sit here and say that all we want to know.
But they Buju Banton and Beres Hammond are their priority. Stink and Dirty Fat is the priority. They know they talk about they want to be safe. They're frightened in their homes. Right? Yeah, everybody's, but let me don't say everybody. The consensus is the majority, they're afraid. There's a veil of fear envelop the nation in their homes. Everybody, they're frightened. Right? So how are you going to fix it? You're going to remain frightened all the time? Or you're worrying about repercussions and victimization? The criminal coming to victimize and kill you? How do you send a message to who's in charge that we want this situation rectified? We want to feel safe in our yards and our homes. How do you do it? And they want to stall the local election and all that? I am observing. I am an observer to see if they're going to put them on the finger where their mouth is.
They'll put the finger on the mouth and keep it shut.
I'm gonna wait and see. You're frightened. You don't go out. Some people don't go after 9 o'clock, or they don't want dark catch them out.
They put a finger on the lips, like when you put your finger on your lips like that. Shh.
One girl they found cut up, and next one gone missing again. It's every day. This is the society they want. How can you thrive? And I say, right?
In all fairness, the world is in a state of.
Yeah, Tom, you keep saying the world, right? But let me tell you something. Yeah, the world is in a state. But Trinidad and Tobago is too small. Too tiny a country for all of this going on.
You see, it's our focus. It's our focus, and we are right to be focused on there because that's from whence we came. However, it seems to be globally like things are in a total topsy-turvy mode.
And I say, right, there's a simple way to solve the crime problem. You want to know how?
Bring it on.
Obey the law and punish those who don't. End of the story. Obey the law and punish if you don't.
And that goes from top to bottom.
Top to bottom. Obey the law. Put down the law. Okay, you do it. Punish you. Right? And Anselm asked how come this case was heard so quickly. Got them fellas languishing in prison, waiting for on remand. I mean, that's human rights violation, no? And I understand, there's a guy I'm trying to reach out to. He was in jail for a while. And he come out now, he walking right. He could give us firsthand of the conditions that he went through in the prison. And you in there waiting for a case to be called? You on remand?
And you may very well be innocent.
Yeah.
You know what that makes at the end of that exercise? A bitter human being who may have been an innocent victim that's now turned into a monster because of his experience.
Anselm, see if the guest is backstage, And with all the poverty going on, poverty everywhere, I think, is the parent of crime and revolution.
Lack of opportunity also, yes.
Poverty, the parent of crime. You know who said that a long time ago? Aristotle. That's a Greek philosopher. Long time ago, Poverty is the parent of crime and revolution. People gonna start it. Criminal activity, and if you continue with the criminal activity, the crime is being perpetrated against, they're gonna start to revolt. So let's see how this gonna go on in TNT and for how long.
We don't really condone violent revolution.
No, you don't. Revolution does not necessarily mean violence. But get up and march. I want to feel safe in my country. Are you going to have laws? Are you going to have patrols? The defense force, the police force. These are things that are needed. For the women, you have to have a revolution. Not a sort of lip talk, and then the man saying that it is not his responsibility to keep me safe. So where's your job then? Where's your job? Your portfolio is Minister of National Security. You hear the portfolio? National Security. And it's not your job to keep me safe? Yes, we have people who have to take responsibility in society and stop assaulting the women and raping them and all. But there's supposed to be things in place to deter all this activity and laws. And if you do this, then hey, this is what's going to happen to you. And let them see it happening. But I don't see none of that. I don't see.
But
Yeah.
I mean, Diana, it's not only the women facing problems in Trinidad. You know.
Well,
it have men. It have
going
men
missing too. Yeah. But the chances of a woman becoming a victim of kidnap and rape is more likely as a woman, huh? Okay.
Yeah, but I think we have
society as a whole.
Correct. That correct.
You
I was
know?
gonna say that we have a multitude of problems to deal with in Trinidad and Tobago. And you know, I was talking to a friend and I was saying that for 1.4 million people, right? I think it's easier to deal with these problems and fix it.
Yep.
But as I keep saying that, I don't think our politicians in Trinidad and Tobago had the testicular fortitude, right? And the gumption in order to make change for the betterment of the country. They was making fun of the commissioner and they asked her some question and she said she don't have the statistics with her. You all saw that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But she said, as far as she could remember, we're in a better place than we were the last year.
Yeah, sometimes I feel it as we picking on the lady, though.
Of course.
I just feel so sometimes. Because she's a female, they're picking on her.
And I think it's soon to hold her feet to the fire. Because, I mean, in 100 days, you expect to see remarkable results. I am not that.
But Tommy, you are correct. If that was Gary would have cussed everybody already and tell him it's only 100 days. You know, you would have called him all kind of names.
Look out for the gas, Anselm.
So
he should be attempted to log in now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's unfair criticism of her for 100 days in office. And if she says she's doing an excellent job, right?
But who should be appraising her performance? Not her. It should be the population, and you know,
absolutely,
or other beings. Not you ask me. But I think I'm doing an excellent. No, hello.
But yeah, but I agree with you. If it was me, I would have said I do not splendid first job. Because
you have to believe it.
But listen, if she had said, I'm doing a fair job, you know what people would have said? What do you think people would have said? What they would have said? If she said, I'm doing a good job, they say, what? You the commissioner doing a good job? Look,
I would have said, let's wait 100 days. 600 days is too soon. Let's wait 6 months down the road and we'll take it from there. But no, you know, I'm doing an excellent job. Oh boy.
That's what she was saying though.
I would have said
I'm only 100 days on the job.
I would have said I'm doing my best at this time.
Something. But not excellent job. Okay, Anselm, do you see the person?
That's why they need spokesperson. They need spokesperson. They don't need to go out in the public and speak for themselves.
Not just that.
They need to have a press. They need to have a press conference every Friday, right? And ask any questions with respect to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And it doesn't have to be her. It could be
Anselm, the person is trying to log on.
Prime Minister.
Is he hearing me? Tommy, could you tell him what I say? I don't think he's hearing me.
He's dipping in and out.
So I think our guest is in.
Bring him in, Anselm. Anselm, you're in and out.
He's frozen now.
Can you hear me? He's freezing.
Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. Well, let's see here.
Let's give it a few minutes. He's right now. He's Anselm, are you there?
No, he's circling. You see that circle?
All right, I'm back.
He answered the person is trying to log on.
Yeah, let me bring them in. Let me bring in the guests.
Hey, good night, guys. How are you all doing?
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Gibbs.
Thank you, guys. How are you? How's everyone this evening?
So far, so good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm quite fine right here in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm doing well.
Well, we here in the United States are splendiferous, fantabulous, marvelous, splentastic, splentacular, and wondrous. How are you?
That's excellent, man. That's excellent. So am I right here. Yeah. So
don't infect him with your usage now. Eh? Oh God. Hey.
Oh God. No, but you know, when we come in the village, we gotta make people feel comfortable when they come in the village. You know what I mean? That's just it. So how are you doing today? Tell us how you are doing today. We want to know how you are doing today.
Well, I'm doing quite well, quite fine, I must say, despite everything that's happening right here in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I try to take it one day at a time, one step at a time, and make the differences as I go along. So, with that being said, I don't make anything a problem per se, because I always know to every problem there is a solution. So positivity is always the key, and that's what makes my day great every single day.
Well, you are absolutely correct, because I say every day above dirt is a fantabulous day. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Because sometimes, you know, there are things that needs to be fixed, and I think sometimes we should try to find solutions. You know, we can complain, but we should also try to put some solutions on the table as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, Mr. Gibbs, I saw you have a program now. We are on a radio station here live too, right? So a lot of people listening to you all over the place, eh? Yeah, so I saw you have this show on Facebook, Divided Opinion, and it caught my eye. And I listened to a couple of your, for lack of a better word, podcasts. And, you know, you raised pertinent issues. You didn't come off as biased toward one party or the other. You see, you kind of align with me as, you know, this is an issue and, you know, it affecting certain people and we need to talk about it. So elaborate on your stance as to issues affecting the country, Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I'll say there's a multitude of issues that we're facing in our everyday lives. I mean, our economy is down, our oil and gas sector. In fact, not just on our oil and gas sector, but everything to do that could promote a better economy has been taken apart and destroyed. I'm not saying that one administration is solely responsible for it, but it's because of a series of bad governance we are the way we are right now. And I do think that people should sit down and think deeply as to where their allegiances and alliances are actually taking them. Because like in one of my podcasts that I did put out, I asked everyone, I said, when you open your fridge or you go to pay your car note or your mortgage at the end of the month, does that allegiance pay that for you? How is that working out for you? You understand? And from my experience, even being on a political platform, because I did contest the 2020 general elections on August the 10th, what I've noticed, interacting with people on all levels, all walks of life, different areas, is that everybody wants change. That is the most common denominator in every conversation. Everybody wants change, but not everybody is interested in being a part of that change. Because you see, from the day that we were handed our independence, I think it was in the 60s or so.
62.
Yeah. From the day that we were handed, because we never fought for that. From the day we were handed, we still have that submissive mentality right now. And it has been brought forward from generation to generation to generation. And with that, what I've observed, a lot of people, like I said before, their cry is, here's what it is. We can't do anything to change it. But there's a lot you can do. You can be part of the process of change. Because if you sit back and expect that ship to come in, when you're going to be sitting back there in the sands forever, like I tell people, some people build castles all in the skies, and you end up living in the clouds by yourself. So what we really need in this country is unity, bottom line. That's what we need, unity. Yeah.
Someone has shot me a question to ask if you could introduce yourself. What is your portfolio? Who are you?
Well, all right. Well, my official name is Robert Matthew Gibbs, but everybody calls me Matthew. Everybody, right? I'm a businessman. My actual trained profession is sales, marketing, networking, financial structures, all of those things to do with building a business, and from inception to the 7-figure salary, or should I say income. Yeah, so that's what I do. Politically, at one point in time in 2020, I was on the Progressive Empowerment Party's platform, which is Philip Alexander. Reason why I joined, I thought at that point in time that they have wonderful policies. His ranting and raving is what actually caught my attention. I started listening and I got interested. Even before that, I always wanted an avenue to be a part of something bigger, something greater. Trinidad and Tobago has so much to offer, and I think that I have a lot to give. In fact, we all have a lot to give back to our country. And giving back to our country doesn't just mean it has to be on a financial level, but it can be in terms of the support. And that way we used to be at one point in time. So that is my real dream. And some people might call it a childish dream, but I just want to come back to that point where we were safe with each other. We loved each other as neighbors. We had great times, good laughs, where a village could raise a child, things like that. So that is my whole take on where I am and why I am.
No, sir. As far as giving back is concerned, that's part of our goal as a whole. But what many of us have recognized is that when we make an attempt to give back, we are not being accommodated in a friendly manner.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah, they want to know, who they think they are, and we out here, and we left and we ran, and all kinds of negative. But yet, over the years of returning to Trinidad and Tobago for vacation, we would have spent so much money in the economy, and yet we don't have rights to say, well, try this now, do this now. Perhaps, listen to us, allow us to vote too. They everywhere you turn, you're meeting a hurdle. But go ahead, Tommy.
No, not only that, sometimes it's costly to us, and we don't get the desired results. We do put our resources out in an attempt to better our country, and what we get out of it is sometimes it's huge losses, and it's very sad.
Anselm, you coming in?
Yeah, give me a minute. 1 minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Gibbs. So, what do you want for Trinidad and Tobago? What do you want?
Well, most of all, for Trinidad and Tobago, what I would like to see happen is, one, like I say, unity, and also, most importantly, a better economy, a better way of life for each and everybody, better representation for this country in terms of the administrations that we've had, both past and present. Most of all, that is what I would really like to see, equality. And when I say equality, not in terms of a racial stance or anything like that, but in terms of, here's what, the same dollar you can have is the same dollar that I can have access to also. Not because you come from this sector of people, should you be more privileged than the average citizen where the law escapes you totally. I would like to live in a Trinidad and Tobago where our education system can identify skill sets in children from a very young age. And then we now have teachers being trained to help those children pursue their God-given talents. I mean, for example, I went to Presidential College, Chaguanas. That school didn't offer any vocational because it was solely based on academic structures. And I love to dig with cars. I build my own race car, everything. I love that. That was never offered to me in that school. But even though we have those skills being offered when we used to have the junior sec and senior sec system as vocational subjects, they would teach you how to apply your trade in terms of how to do it, like you're a mechanic or an electrician, whatever the case may be. But they don't teach you how to manage your trade and to make the necessary investment. So that is where you see internationally, the education system only can produce employees, and it's very rare you will get employers coming out of it. And that is the Trinidad I would like to live in, where we can have our natural resources back for our own personal profits, because our oil and gas industry actually used to subsidize our fuel costs at one point in time, which was great. But now what do we have? Why has it all gone? When a business fails, it fails from on top, not underneath. I'm a businessman. I know. I've tried and I've failed and I've tried again. I know how business works. So that is Trinidad, and that is what I want for Trinidad. I want us to be similar to a first world nation, but to achieve that, we need to get rid of third world thinking.
With a 98% literacy rate, we are certainly capable of, handling our own business, our own scene. And also too, you hear in the world they're dabbling with AI and everything, robotics and all this. So, and I heard one time where the Honorable Prime Minister said that they're going to be digitalizing Trinidad and Tobago. Now you're going to be digitalizing it. Who's going to who's the manpower to maintain? Are you training individual? What is going on? Yeah. And I want to ask you also too, sir. How do we get a grasp of the crime situation and turn it around? Talk to the Commissioner of Police. Give them ideas. Mm-hmm. How can you get Trinidad and Tobago the crime fixed, the crime situation fixed?
You see, there are so many things that we can do, because, like you rightfully said early in this presentation, is that we need to stop arguing about our failures and start providing solutions. In the case of the police commissioner, the one that we do have at present, I would say, I would agree with you and say give her the 6 months. Give her at least that as a trial basis before you assign anything or cast it in stone. Because when the Commissioner of Police has failed to effectively control crime, there are several initiatives that can be taken to address this situation. I mean, we can replace the commissioner again, because if they have failed to execute their portfolios professionally and effectively, we need to replace them with a new commissioner who has a strong track record of success in combating crime. Somebody who's competent and experienced and can bring fresh ideas and strategies to tackle this problem effectively.
Doesn't that fall? Go ahead, Tommy.
Do you think that someone externally may be better suited, since we may not have anyone internally that satisfies that requirement?
Well, I would seem to think that they have tried that before when they had this Canadian guy come and be the commissioner at one point in time. But we have people, I do believe we have people right here who are quite capable of executing that portfolio. But the problem with every portfolio in this country is political interference. That is the problem. So when you have political interference, you can no longer have equality. What you will have is a narrative being executed by the puppet master. Yeah. So these are things that we need to take into consideration.
Now, you said that you were a PEP candidate. Do you honestly believe that these, I call them splinters like PEP, NTA, and so on and so forth, can make a difference? Or do we need, or is there a way that we can get them to all galvanize themselves together and become a formidable third force?
Well, I absolutely believe, I mean, speaking to the general public, the consensus on the ground is a lot of people are giving consideration into those two options, PEP and NTA. Those are the two powerhouses right now. I mean, PAP has been doing a fabulous job. I'm not just saying that because I partied with them, but I'm a critical person. In fact, I analyze everything with a pinch of salt and through a magnifying glass. And like I said, the policies that I've seen PEP put forward are fabulous policies. There's actual policies that could save Trinidad and Tobago. But then on the flip side, we have Gary Griffith with the NTA, somebody who has a track record, somebody who has been involved. Philip has been involved as well. But Gary, he was on like the flip side, if I may say so. In terms of that, he had a deeper involvement because he was the actual Minister of National Security at one point in time and the Commissioner of Police at another point in time. So he has experience. He would have some experience. And a lot of people at that point in time, even like yesterday, a couple of friends of mine came over and we were gaming, right? I just want to draw an example. So we were playing Call of Duty. And on these online forums, one of us said, hey, GG that guy, GG him. In other words, one shot, one kill. Gary Griffith them now. That is the slang. And that is a household slang everybody uses because they know Gary Griffith was a man when he says something. Or if you go on Facebook or any social media and taunt him, book it. You're going to be dealt with. And that is something I found at some degree admirable because it shows that, to me, it shows that you're a no-nonsense person. It shows that there are effective mediums that we can use to find criminals. That is why I use all of this as an example. Because what I'm trying to say is that we don't need to look through the looking glass from one angle. Maybe to find out where the solutions are, it may be just at the side of us, but we're looking at it from the wrong angle. So rather than look at it head on, stick a step back and look at it from one side and then from another perspective. And then look at it straight on again. There are different ways you can treat any problem. It's all about your approach.
As far as the Trinidad political landscape is concerned, we have two parties that have dug in, so to speak, and forces to be reckoned with. Is it practical or realistic to think that these other parties that are, as I've said before, they are splintered, can really make a difference?
Yeah. What some of them may need to do is come together and form an alliance. Like I said, because some have the numbers, some may not have those numbers in terms of the support. But with a combined effort, the possibility, it is a real possibility. Even with some of them individually, it is a real possibility that they can make that difference. And I'm not just, like I said, right now I'm politically neutral, right now, at this very moment. I have not yet made a decision on where my political career will be going for the next general elections. But
if they want the same thing and it's impossible for them to join forces together, can they be really thought of as credible alternatives?
Yeah, I would seem to think so, because they each has their own strength in their own way. I've seen it. Like I said, I have lobbied with the PEP. I've seen the strength and the attention, I would say, that they command. And it is strong. I would tell you that. A lot of people might look at Philip Alexander and say, I'll tell you, he carries no way. But I will tell you, from being a man on the inside, be careful that he might become one of the next entities, if not the ruling party, the opposition. That is a very real possibility. And I would say in the same breath, go ahead. Sorry.
This is Anselm. How are you doing? But Matthew,
good.
The facts doesn't justify the statement that you just made, though, because in every election so far, other than the one where I think a PEP candidates get more votes than the PNM, the Progressive Empowerment Party has basically been a non-starter. And here is the thing that I've said, that when you have a party that says Philip will fix it, it means to say that it's no longer the Progressive Empowerment Party, it's now the Philip Empowerment Party, because he is talking about Philip will fix it rather than Pep will fix it.
Yeah, agreed. I hear you. Yeah,
I see you smiling, boy.
I hear you.
I make you smile, right?
because it's the most common thing that I've been hearing. That's why.
Perhaps he's taking responsibility, letting people know he's reachable. Unlike we love you so we'll take good care of you, and you don't want to go down that road. Perhaps that's the message he's trying to send.
Is it Philip Empowerment Party or the Progressive Empowerment Party?
I think he's trying to add. Perhaps, maybe I might be wrong. He is trying to add a personal, touch or something that is not unreachable. I don't know.
Maybe. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? But I've heard that. The reason I said I laugh, I've heard that question. So many people have approached me. And you used to be the representative of the PP, the man and controller central, this and that. I was like, yeah. Why does so and so? I said, partner, right now, I'm not on any platform. I just took a step back because I've done what I can. And I will continue to do what I could. But like I said, I've taken a step back politically. I'm neutral. And I'm close to making a decision, a final decision. Because, I've been in conversations with many people, like I said, on the ground and listening to what they have to say. Because, honestly, it's not about me. It's about Trinidad and Tobago. And I do think an individual should be the main focus, but the country should be the primary intention. That is what my belief is.
But Matthew, let me ask you a question, right? You don't have to answer it if you don't want to answer it. When you come in the village, we like feel in the village, we originate, we don't imitate. What is the reason why you left the Progressive Empowerment Party?
Him change your mind.
I apologize.
You're good. You're just like me. You like to drop Easter eggs subtly. You're just like me. If you watch my videos, you'll realize that sometimes people say, "Oh no, you make a mistake." I say, "Hello, look at my tone. I didn't make a mistake. I intentionally say this to think it." Answer your question. Why I left the Progressive Empowerment Party is that, like I said, I have not officially left, but I've taken a step back, honestly, because like I said, when I put my name to something, I want to make sure that the only thing God gave me that I am solely responsible for, which is my name, it will stay good. I'm not saying that the PP has anything to tarnish my name with. I'm not saying that, but I want to take time to make the right decision. I don't want to be persuaded by only one narrative. I want to hear everybody out. I want to hear who's making the best offer, who has the right policies in place, who is willing to start making a change by having constitutional reform, who are the people going to put accountability on all levels of public office. Those are the things that I am looking at right now. I want to make the best decision because here's where I'm born and here's where I will die. This is my country.
We also had a prominent person step back from the party. Another prominent.
Yeah, but I was going to ask Matthew, your decision, like a holds that already bolted the farm. You already said you supported the PEP.
Yeah. They get my support. I wouldn't bash them outright, but I will tell you, right now, being neutral, anybody and everybody who steps out of line towards this country, I will put you in place. I don't care who you are. I will. If it's Philip, if it's Gary, if it's Dr. Keith Rowley, if it's Kamala Prasad Bissessa, whoever it is right now, I will put them in place because Trinidad and Trinidadians should not be made a pappy show. It's time for us to get serious, even our administration. And like I said, I did give the DPP my support. I stepped back for more than one personal reason. It had nothing really to do with the party as such, but for personal reasons. And honestly, it was to sort out business, do what I have to do, get back focused, because being a politician and a political activist, it takes away everything from you. When I say everything, you basically don't have time for you to sit back and exhale a little bit, because you always have to worry about this person how you could fix this situation, what you could do, and then the added distractions being created every single day with intention to distract from the real narratives about change and where we need to be.
So Dana just raised the point. We hear that David Welch, a well-known former UNC activist, turned PEP youth chairman, recently resigned from the the Progressive Empowerment Party. He was with us here a few days ago, and he also, like you, did not want to make a statement as far as why he was stepping away from the Progressive Empowerment Party. And I think that from a young person perspective, yourself and David Welch are really vibrant, energetic political activists in Trinidad and Tobago. And to see these young men stepping away from the PEP, I mean, I don't know what type of signal it sends, but maybe.
No. I wouldn't like I said. I took a step back, not specifically from PEP. I just took a step back because, like I said, it was more personal reason. But it's nothing really to do with the PEP because, like I said, I love their policies. I do love their policies. But again, Trinidad has reached a critical turning point. I have spoken to myself on many occasions and made a promise that once I'm involved, it is the time of our change will be the time where our future generations will look back and say, you know what, I was a part of this. My father was a part of this. My grandfather was a part of this. And that is what I want for this country. That is why I took a step back to make the most important decision in my life right now. Which platform should I go with, or should I just stay away from it totally? Because change has to be made. And we need some people who have fresh ideas, who are willing to run that mile, because we have people who are in office who are way past retirement, way past retirement, significantly, and that should be a point in time in your life where you're in your rocking chair on your porch, sipping on something hard, or just taking in a view, if you know what I mean, relaxing. Why are you there? Why are you there? Yeah.
Be careful when you make them statement about sipping on something hard. You know what I mean?
Hey, well, who want to sip? Who want to drink? You understand? Point blank.
Well, Matthew, here we have someone else in the his name is Hailey. He's also a supporter of the Progressive Empowerment Party. He says, but Anselm, I'm Anselm. Anselm, is that all you need to discredit the PEP? Because he think I discredit the PEP. Because he has been a PNM and still is. Yet PNM been doing garbage. So you justify yourself, eh? I like to read these comments, Matthew, because in the village, we get all different people. We are not just pro-PNM or pro-UNC or anti-PNM or anti-UNC or pro-PEP or anti-PEP. We allow all people to come in and give your contribution. You understand? And we don't shy away from reading contributions, what people may think that, against whether you support a party or don't support a party. Right? Yeah. We believe that the people of Trinidad and Tobago should come together and vote for the party that will do the best for the country.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, don't vote for this party because I support the party and my mother support that party and my grandmother support that party.
Yeah.
Vote for the party. Well, that's my belief. Vote for the party that you believe will be best for the country, and don't just vote for them because I support them.
Exactly.
You support them right now, and you don't even have the manifesto to know what their ideas are, what their policies are when the 2025 election come. I told people, I said, listen, I want to see what the policies are with respect to how they are going to run or govern the country. And then I can make a more informed decision. But if I sit down here right now and tell you, so most people will tell you, if you ask Anselm right now, we go vote for PNM. But they don't know that. They don't know that. I want to see what the policies are being put. Now, I could tell you one thing, though. I am not for stand your ground in Trinidad and Tobago. I can tell you that. I am against. By the way, I saw you. I now know who I am speaking to. I saw your interview the other day, what you did with you and not an interview, but you had my partner from Lavantel West on the screen.
Fitzy, man, Fitzy.
Yeah. He mad with me too bad, you know. Yeah, very upset with me. As a matter, I was with some people today, and it's slip again. I wanted to say Fitzgerald Hines, and I say Phil Gerald Hines. And I have the tendency to slip quite often with my language because I'm from Chumakak. I grew up in Chumakak, Lavantel. So sometimes we just get tight tongue.
Yeah.
So I mean, I just believe at the end of the day, Matthew, to be honest with you, that we need a new dispensation in Trinidad and Tobago. And these current set a bunch of politicians we have in Trinidad and Tobago don't have the testicular fortitude in order to move the country where the country needs to go. And there are many of us who, regardless what side of the political divide you are on, right? You have to stop just supporting party blindly.
That's right. Exactly. If you look at all of my presentations that I've put out on TikTok and on Facebook, that's the exact same thing I keep saying. Stop swaying allegiance, because I was actually, and this is in the making, as soon as I get the time, I'm going to go to the banks, to TNTech, to many different organizations that binds your life monthly. And I'm going to ask them, if I swear allegiance to this party, will that pay off my mortgage? I'm going to sit down and ask them those questions. Because people feel that because I'm diehard this and I'm diehard that they're going to put you in a better light for tomorrow. But ask yourself why it is you're really supporting. And I have asked that question to many of them who didn't even want to hear me. I said, so why? Just answer me one question. Okay, fine. You don't support the policies that I bring for you on the change that I want to make in this country. Why you dedicate yourself or you diehard this party? And none of them, not one, could give me proper answer. Not one. Well, my mother always say so and so, or my father always this. My grandmother and them always so and so. And way back when, I say, partner, that was way back when. I say it's like you waking up as a black man in today's world with a chip on your shoulder for something that happened 1,000 years ago. As an example. I said it comes like that. You don't know the struggles. You don't know certain fights. Certain things don't belong to you and certain things are not for you. The whole idea of progress is to move forward. And moving forward means that you let go of your past. And that is what we need to do. And that is what people always do. In fact, the most common thing in Trinidad and Tobago is to hold on to what you're accustomed with. There are a lot of people who are too afraid to try something new. And that's what I tell a lot of my friends. I said, nothing is wrong with going in a different direction. Not because everybody like this means you have to be a part and party to it. Because maybe that might be good for John, but it may not be good for Jerry, and it might be toxic for me. You understand? That situation or that allegiance may affect each one of us in a different way. Some negative and very rarely some positive. So that's why I keep saying we need to change and let go of the past in order to move forward. And that is why we are where we are and why we are, because we just fail to do these things.
So here's a statement from someone, right? This is highly said. Why? Well, I guess he was asking me this. Why ask that waste of time question? Imagine he left but still stayed all this time. So if he see wrongdoing, what make him take so long to leave? That is the important part.
I didn't leave because of any wrongdoing. Like I said, I left for personal reasons. I have my things to see, personal things to see about. And because of the time consumption and the demand that being actively on a political platform, on a political level, what it requires of you, I just could not give at that point in time. I just cannot give it right now to specifically one person right now. But what I do have the time for is my country and how we could progress as one people under one flag and one nation and form a creative society. That is what my interest is right now. That does not take so much of my time right now. Because, like I said, being active as a politician on a political platform, you physically have a lot to do. Whereas I can do my research, talk to people when I'm on my commute to whatever job site I'm on, whatever I'm doing, while I'm interacting normal on my everyday life, when I can take it at my own pace. And that is why like I said, I've decided to take that step back because I had to see about certain personal things that had nothing to do with any wrongdoing or nothing like that. Nothing like that. It's just a matter of, like I said, personal reasons. So I hope that answers the question for that person who made that comment. Because
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So what it is, Matthew, we have to go for a quick station identification. And when we come back, right, we have another question from the same individual, because the person here in the chat, that person is a supporter of the Progressive Empowerment Party. And also we want to address what exactly do you mean by the anarchist? We want to address what exactly does that mean. So folks, stick and stay. Or let's see Matthew smiling and stick and stay. Send the village to the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us political activist Matthew Gibbs with us tonight. And we're having a deep, deep conversation about politics in Trinidad and Tobago. Stick and stay. We'll be right back after the short message.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
And just before, we wanted to want to give you one verse of this, Matthew. Let me get this here. All right. Take a listen.
This thing called PNM, this thing called UNC, is one set of dotishness to Mama Kai, you and me. It ain't have no color, it ain't have no race, it ain't have no principles or any values in place. And it was never meant to be the answer for unity. It shares no philosophy with any consistency. For when you watch the pedigree in each and every party, the difference you see turns out to be a case of power and money. Look here, them French Creoles in Saint-As, Maraval and Saint-Clair, they don't hold no allegiance or no party here. Rich men must be supporting who they feel going to win. Loyalty, friends, means nothing, money is their thing. That's why PNM quite on turned court to UNC. And when Del Motley, his background showed he was with DAC. Hector Motley, the speaker, swore PNM till he dead. And when the last election over, he was UNC instead. Augustus Ramreka sing, I knew him in Tapia. Next thing I know, he was a PNM minister. John Humphrey changed from Trinity and he joined about 5 parties. So he's only die-hard you and grassroots me. It's PNM and UNC.
Back at you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to you every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. I see you shaking your head, Matthew.
Word for word, he on point. Word for word. I like that song. Word for word. I could not present it better.
I just play that song all the time. I don't know if people understand what Chalky's saying there. I don't think they understand it.
Nah, they don't understand that.
I don't think they understand that at all. I don't think. But I mean, we live and learn. We live and learn. So let me get back to this question here. The question was, it was a statement. Let me get the. So the person said, and why is that? They both don't want to say why they left. So he's talking about yours truly and David Welch, because we had David Welch on here, and now we have you here, and both of you guys here, and this is from a PEP supporter. They want to know why it is that, I mean, if you're doing gymnastics with me, you know what I mean? You're on the balance beam.
Well, like I said, my statement was I took a step back to sort out my personal stuff.
So you're going back to Pimpin. You're going
never
back
said
to
I left. But what I am saying is that moving forward in my political career, I just want to make sure whatever decision I make is the right one. That is all. Like I said, nothing is wrong with PEP, but there are other options as well, and people are recognizing these options now. Like I said earlier on, people are recognizing the strength of the PEP and what they can do, despite all the old talk and people always coming at me. Well, yeah, boy, Philip will fix it. Philip alone in that party, that one man show, this and that, the other. I will always say, whatever could work for you will work for you. You do you. Because what working for you may not work for me. I have my own strategies. So if WZYE Philip wants to market the party or market himself as a representative, well then so be it. I never actually demand for that. He could do whatever he so choose. But what I am going to do is whatever in the best interest of this country.
But you know something David Welch also said, and I'm paraphrasing here. He said that Philip had looked at what the PNM was doing and the UNC was doing, and they were more rallying behind an individual. They were rallying behind Prime Minister Rowley. They were rallying behind Kamla Prasad Besessa, and they have been successful. They have been in government. You know, both of them have been in government, and he believed that this is what David Welch was saying here, and I'm paraphrasing that. Philip believed that that was the best way for him as the leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party to follow suit, because what they have done has been successful, and they have formed the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, my opinion is if that is what they are doing, they will be unsuccessful. Because now, the generations that the voting generation, we're going to get about at least, just when I'm working in maths quickly, at least about 20 to 30,000 more voters by the time we reach 2025. Generations changing, times changing. That is what you have to look at. So what was good for yesterday may not be good for today or tomorrow, because the way technology advances, which is like, I would say almost every 5 minutes. Honestly, when you look at how fast cell phones change, every 3 to 6 months, something new coming out. Same thing with tried and tested methods. What used to work yesterday? I'm a marketing professional. What used to work yesterday will not work today. Sometimes the foundation may be the same and you word it differently. But people now analyzing everything from ground up. So if you have to come with something new. Start with fresh new ideas. So focus on change and repairing the change.
So listen to this, right? We have PNM and UNC. We have PEP. We have NTA. We have PDP. We recently had Hope come into the come join the Congo line. And so from your penthouse, and you're looking at the 2025 election. I mean, it'll be far away, you know. Don't you think it's still a two-horse race, PNM UNC, or you think otherwise?
Well, to be quite honest, I think on both levels, on both lines, I still think that people might just go back to what they're accustomed with, and I do believe that on the flip side, on the equal flip side, people want change. People want to try something new. Like I said, now I live in Central. Central area is predominantly UNC, and there are a lot of people in Central who just have become disenchanted with UNC and how they operate and what they're doing and what they're not doing. And that is just the narrative, as well as it have its fair share of people who will never change from that. So it could be a two-way race. Like I say, it could go back to the same two-party politics, or this time around coming up in this 2025, or maybe before general elections, the narrative will flip. Because people are recognizing that there are options now. There's not just Party A and Party B anymore. There are different options.
And I think in Trinidad and Tobago, I think options is not a bad thing. I think options is a good thing. You know, but sometimes, you know, we clamor for change and we only get exchange.
Very well said. Very well said. And that's the facts. Those are the facts. We want change, but we just exchange. And no, but honestly, whose fault is that? Is that UNC's fault? Is that PNM's fault? Nope. It's our fault.
Right.
Because I mean, Einstein did say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It does not work. It does not work. That's insanity. So we have been insane for how many years? 60 years plus years? Yeah.
But Mr. Matthew, we see on the campaign trail promises being made by the parties, and once they get into power, the promises go out the window and there are no consequences. How do we hold them accountable and keep their feet to the fire to make sure that what they promise, they do deliver?
Well, the first thing we need to enact is recall legislation. That's the first thing we need to enact.
Okay.
First thing. Even before general elections are held, this upcoming general elections, we need to have that as a solid law. Solid. And make it effective immediately. Now, laws have been that has been action. I do believe, I could be very wrong, I do believe it was the UNC who had put that forward and made it a law, recall legislation. But let me tell you what makes something ineffective. In Parliament, to make those things stand, to make those things be effective, to make them come to life, you have to proclaim those laws. And if you don't proclaim it, it's like having all the ammunition and no wars to fight. What is the point? What is the point? And that is what they failed to do. So, like you rightfully said, with all of these promises, I grew up knowing, listening to my grandmother and parents, they always tell you, a promise is the comfort of a fool, you know. So if you want to continue to be a fool and continue taking broken promises, and you know what is the sad thing? It's the same people coming to give you the same broken promises every cycle, every single cycle. Sometimes they repeat it word for word. And they give you a $5 and a t-shirt. And you know what? Salvation is here. I have $5. But again, I would refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Suffer a man long enough, give him rubbish and he'll worship you like a god. Yeah.
What boy? You're going to Maslow, boy? What? Einstein's boy. But
I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
But Matthew, I hope you don't mind me call you Matthew.
No, go ahead. No problem, man. No problem.
Matthew, you have an anarchist, right? So an anarchist is someone who believes in anarchism, right? Anarchism, a political philosophy that advocates for the abolition of all involuntary, cursive forms of hierarchy. This includes government, corporations, and other institutions that exercise power over individuals without their consent. Anarchists believe that people can live together in peace and harmony without the need for these institutions, and that by doing so will lead to a more just and equitable society. What do you say?
Well, if that's the definition of an anarchist, well, then maybe I am.
Okay.
Maybe I am. Because I do believe we can live without government. I do believe that we could govern ourselves. But I do believe a lot of us need direction and guidance. There are a lot of things that I do believe in. But like I always say, what I believe in is not really the point. What we need to have faith in is each other and knowing that we can make a change in this country. That is the most important thing. My beliefs are not important, even though some of them I may stand by. But I believe. Go ahead. Sorry.
Premise of an anarchist is that people can create a better world without the need for government or other forms of hierarchy.
Yeah.
And so but if that is it, but then you are supporting a party that's trying to get into government.
Well, like I said, not because I have that title, it meant actually my channel was going to be set up for something totally different. Totally different. And it ended up being this. So that is why I launched the Divided Opinions. That is why I have that one. Because Anarchist was supposed to be my comedy, YouTube, and TikTok. Just by doing nonsense and all of those kind of things. It wasn't really meant to be a tagline and a reflection of my political stance.
Okay, all right, fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough, fair enough,
Yeah.
fair enough. Because when I see it, I say, but I mean, I'm thinking that maybe you want to get rid of the government in Trinidad and Tobago.
But Anselm, listen to what you all said there, right? Edward Murrow also said, "A nation of sheep will beget a government of wolves." Right? And I want Matthew to chime in here. What I'm seeing in Trinidad and Tobago, you see what went on in Florida, where the Satan make some statement and everything's it backlashing on him now, and the people who provide the labor that keeps Florida going, building and stuff, they're not showing up for work. There's a go slow, no stop, a no show, no go nowhere. How come, Matthew, in Trinidad and Tobago? Let me come on camera here. I was on another call for a minute. How come in Trinidad and Tobago, we can't, Buju Banton and Beres Hammond show up in town? Stink and dirty fat? How come we cannot get persons to, make a stance and say, what, we need to come together, come out in your communities. This is an issue. We want it fixed. How come we can't get them to do that?
Fear. Trinidadians live in fear. On one of my videos, fear of what? Well, fear of consequence. Because on one of my videos, I made it quite clear. I said, what if Monday morning, the working population, which would be over 100,000 people right here in Trinidad and Tobago, I would say about 100,000 people, because you have 1 point something million, right? So the working population, people who work here, which would mean all private sector people, all public sector people as well. If we decide on a Monday morning that, you know what, enough is enough, let's shut it down. And none of us go to work. Nothing functions. Not a thing. Transport, nothing functions. And then we decide, here's what. Let's all go take our money out of the bank. We'll shut down and we will shut down this economy. We can hold this economy to ransom, but you see, that would be highly impossible for the bank to give us all our money back, because at any given time, the bank only retains 15%. The rest is just zeros and ones and fiction and fictitious air. that is what it actually is. So we cannot even get back our money, but we can still shut down the entire economy. We can hold it to ransom and apply the political pressure needed for us to have legislation change, policies change, and a good constitution where it will be fair to every citizen in Trinidad and Tobago. But the reason why we don't do these things is because if I do this and no one else support me, or no one else supports this cause, I could risk losing my job. I could risk not paying my car notes. I could risk not paying my mortgage. I could risk losing everything. And that is why people live in fear, because of the consequences perpetrated onto the people by whatever institution. I'm not saying that is purposely done, but it happens. Let's live in the real world. It happens. So, and then on the flip side, why I don't really have much faith. I mean, I would love for somebody to change that mindset that I have. But why I don't have faith in a national shutdown is because of the mentality of some, like, for example, not single-handedly pointing out anybody or putting down anybody, but let's just use a taxi driver as an example. He might say, here's what, place shut down, nobody going out, real food on the road, boy, I going out and eat all. How can we accomplish what we set out to achieve? And we have people thinking like that. Unity is the most important thing. We have to, and with every success comes sacrifice. And if you don't want to make that sacrifice, not just for your immediate now, but the narrative of your future and the conclusion of your chapters, well, then who am I to tell you what to do? If you can't make that commitment for yourself. And like I said in a couple of my presentations that I put on my podcast and whatnot, I said, if you don't want to make that change for you, what about the generation that you put on this earth? What about them? Why not make that change for them? Why not encourage them to, if you don't want to be a part of the change, why not encourage them so that they have that option of being critical thinkers, so that they may question everything and trust nothing?
But don't you think?
And I find in Trinidad, society has reached a stage where everybody has a right, but nobody don't have no responsibility.
Yep.
Everybody has a right. I have a right to this and a right to that. But nobody taking responsibility of, we need to stop killing our women. We need to stop invading people's homes. We need to start mining our children responsibility. Mining your children. We need to stop making so many children to begin with. You see why we have a right? But nobody want a responsibility.
That's right. That's right. That is right. Because I actually took a look at something early on today. It was a book called Toxic Charity by Robert Luton. This is where he talks about the 5 steps to dependency. And he goes on to say that if you give something to somebody once, they'll appreciate it. If you give the same thing to that person again, they'll anticipate that you're going to do it a third time. And if you give it a third time, they're going to have an expectation that you'll do it a fourth time. And when you do it a fourth time, they'll feel entitled. And that is where the problem begins. Because if you give it a fifth time, they'll become dependent on you for that very said item. And that is how you create dependency. And I've seen in this country, since the inception and the illusion of our independence, that was the narrative being portrayed from then till now in many different forms, and mostly coming from the heads of state, because they need to create, because how else can I control you? If I control what you eat, what you drink, how you think, what you drive, the shoes you wear, I control you. Because the basic thing that I own is the media, and you're hooked on the media. So I can control everything about you. And this ties in hand with dependency syndrome, because I have now become so dependent on everything for you. Like I refer again to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I suffer you for water for 99 days. And then I give you water one day. And I'm not even giving you clean water, I'm just giving you water for one day. I am a God. It's the same thing with dependency syndrome. Same thing. Because I looking at, what the one thing that really get me, honestly, the one thing that really get me is this fella, I think is Williams, I think it was his name, from the presentation of the award to Dr. Keith Rowley at the Howard University.
Dr. Wayne Frederick.
Wayne Frederick. I want to, to expect to see one of that from me just now, right? Because I'm working on it. And he's gonna get put
honorary PhD. You're working on an honorary PhD.
No. I'm working on why Howard University should reevaluate that gentleman's position at their institution.
No, but you're very qualified, or no? I gotta admit.
No.
Nice, highly qualified.
I'll tell you something. I will tell you something. I have met some of the most qualified, educated people who stupid as hell.
No,
I'm very serious. Because that fella stand up and compliment Dr. Keith Rowley on our education system. He compliment Dr. Keith Rowley on taking us through the pandemic season. He compliment Dr. Keith Rowley on creating incentive for business people. The only incentive business people have is to pay what is due to the government on time. And the incentive that they give is a little time frame and then slight interest by heavy interest. But when time to get back our taxes is a different story. But anyway, that's another discussion.
But I want to say that. It is my belief that with other information that have come to me, for him getting the ORTT, right? I think the government did a poor job of public relations with the public knowing what were the reasons why he got the highest award in Trinidad and Tobago.
I would agree with that.
And I think Dr. Wayne Frederick made a big blunder, and I call it a 90-10, right? 90% you could have correct, and the 10% that you have inaccurate, people will focus on the 10%. Or if you have 10 things, you have 9 correct, and the one that you have incorrect, the people will focus on it. But that one wrong could be so damaging that it has a drastic effect on the other 9. And the one damaging thing that he did, and he should have known better, is that he said Dr. Rowley was the first Tobagonian prime minister in Trinidad and Tobago. And that was totally inaccurate.
Yeah, because it was A&R Robinson. He was, I believe. Yeah,
right.
he was.
It was A&R Robinson. So he got that so wrong that if you could get that wrong, it leaves open discussion to all the many other things
Yeah, but you see,
spoken about.
But you see, he didn't just get that wrong. He got our infrastructure wrong. He got our water and sewage wrong. He got our wrong. He got handling of our wrong. He got the accreditations to Dr. Keith Rowley wrong. He got everything wrong. So I don't know what 9 out of 10 you're talking about, but he get 12 out of 10 wrong.
No, but he didn't get everything wrong.
You understand? No, because all the accolades, yeah, but all the accolades he wanted to accredit Dr. Keith Rowley with was absolutely wrong. And then he started off being wrong by saying, for the first Tobagonian to be the president, the prime minister of Trinidad and Tobago. You went wrong, and then he went wrong, and then he went wrong, and he continued being wrong. My grandparents used to say, now they had business in Port of Spain, body shops, right? Yeah, which were the Gabriels of Port of Spain. That's my grandparents, right? She used to say, when you learn the wrong thing, you're going to perfect the wrong thing. And this guy got his PhD in the wrong thing because he was totally clueless. And I think Howard University needs to take a look at that and let him issue an apology to Trinidad and Tobago for talking such rubbish. Because you want to accredit this man with all his accolades and tell him he did what? And he did nothing. He did the total opposite. He destroyed our economy, destroyed our infrastructure. You cannot drive 10 seconds on any road in Trinidad without damaging your whole suspension. I mean, that's an exaggeration, to be honest. But generally, I just wanted to get the idea. Trinidad roads suck. Because apparently we have a pitch lake, but it's not ours. So there we go. WASA. How can WASA function? How can WASA is the biggest failure ever since? The biggest failure. I didn't call them WASA, I call them WASA time, not WASA. Because recently, while I live in Central here, didn't have water for about 3 or 4 days. You open the pipe, it's Morbi. Morbi concentrate. Not even mixed, Morbi concentrate. Yeah. A little bit again.
And you have to pay the bill for that?
You understand? And then they want to pass this law in government that if you don't pay the bill, they can seize your property. If you don't pay your water rates. I think that was a law that had passed or some amendment or something to that effect. But what about and then they came and say that they could charge you for collecting a bucket of water from the rain, from the sky. Because all the water in the land, all the water in the land belongs to WASA. So if that is the case, now these are things that were thrown around and things being said, that they made that statement that all the water in the land legally is theirs. So if that is the case, when it floods, you come in to pay me for everything then, because I could sue you because your water damaged my property. And when you look at the Properties Act, you'll realize once your property damages mine, you're now held to be held liable.
What do you mean? If you put up something to catch the water, they want to charge you for that?
Yeah, because it had farmers who talked to me, and no, I don't know the validity of all of these claims. I mean, I should have really checked it out. But farmers came and spoke to me and tell me that they had their equipment seized and they were almost charged and arrested for pumping water from the drain, from the rivers, to water their crops. They are not allowed.
Perhaps the health. I don't know.
No.
The water
from whatever water course, they are not allowed to do things like that. So you see, this whole WASA thing is a touchy thing. And for that gentleman to come and accredit Keith Rowley was saying that we have good infrastructure concerning that, you got to be mad. You got to be simply mad. Look at a classic example. Look how much every year Trinidad flooding. Every year. How hard is it? Rather than spend that and cut funding to social services and all these other things, to provide $147 million for Carnival with an additional $20-something million, how about this dumb idea? Why not put a retention pond in every constituency, break up WASA into 41 or 44 pieces, let everybody govern their own water, put a water wheel next to the waterway where you're damming the water to generate current, to subsidize TNTech. So you can have load sharing. All of these things, that one solution by creating retention ponds. So you trap, retreat, and reintroduce it. You have water 24/7. You'll never suffer for water. And it is a tried and tested models in different parts of the world. I do believe the US have systems similar to that, trapping water underground. So you see, it's simple things. You do something like that. So the waterway that is now feeding that dam, that reservoir, like I said, put a water wheel on it, so you can subsidize current. You can have that. You can have that free energy. How much problems you're solving there? You're solving the water problem. You're subsidizing current. You're creating employment, and we have water 24/7. Oh yeah. And by the way, you solve flooding.
And I see somewhere where they owe China how much $1 million they borrow.
No. You see now. If I was one of the lawmakers in this country, call him Imbert, he would have been owing China that money, not Trinidad and Tobago, because it's our tax dollars to go to that point investment. That part of the legislation, as the Minister of Finance, you are accountable for every cent that you borrow, not the country, not the countryman, not the taxes. You as an individual, or you go to jail on account of treason or something like that. So you spend the rest of your life there. Yeah. Make it somewhat unattractive. No, I'm serious. We make it somewhat unattractive. Let's see who will want to fight and die for office now. Because
all that money, who's gonna pay back all that money to China, Anselm?
Well, we, the taxpayers, we have to pay it back. We have to pay back every cent.
So I mean, you have to pay taxes on that house so they can pay back China.
No, the taxes we pay on the house is not to pay back China. It's to pay for the Prados, put gas in it, give them a living allowance, all those things.
Right, but you know they go find a way to siphon it.
Yeah, because if the pandemic, every administration, nearly every administration worldwide took a pay cut. We're the only ones that give themselves a pay raise and bought new vehicles. Imagine that. Yeah. Well, greatest Trinidad.
So, me have any questions, one?
Well, I think Mr. Matthew did a pretty good job thus far.
Anselm.
I just wanted to I think I just wanted to add that sometimes I think we use certain words in Trinidad and we throw it around very, lightly. Is that we say everything. Sometimes we say everything, or we say nothing. Like people will say nothing and working right in Trinidad and Tobago, and there at least has to be one thing working right.
But let's say some of the important things ain't working there.
Yeah, well, I could agree with that. But
some of the important things ain't working.
Yeah, but when we say nothing working right, everything wrong with the country. I mean, listen. I'm the first one to say that for a place of 1.4 million people, we should be in a much better condition.
Thank you.
Here's part of my problem, man. Part of my problem is that there are people in Trinidad and Tobago who want to see the murder rate go to 1,500 murders a year. Right?
Why?
The reason why I say that is because, and this happens in Trinidad and Tobago, is that if my party out of power, I want the country to do as bad as possible. So the government in power can look bad. So somehow my party can look good and my party can come into power.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we are doing it for selfish reasons. We are not doing it for the betterment of the country. So to me, what I would say that if the opposition and the government can come together to make laws that benefit the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and at the end of the day, right, if you make laws, whatever adjustments you have to do in order to make the country safer and to make it better for all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But I don't know if, and I'm gonna say this, I don't know if many, not all, I don't know if many Trinidadians actually want that because they want their party in power.
What has happened and what continues to happen is that there's the belief that the only persons responsible for running the country are the ones who won the election, which is totally false. That's a false narrative because
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
Both everyone who sits in there, whether it's from parties or
responsible.
They are all responsible for running and making the laws and getting it right. It's not just those who are the winners, the losers too. As long as you're inside that parliament, you are responsible for what happens outside the parliament.
Well, to be quite honest, if or maybe whenever it may be, if ever it may be, that I am the one to make decisions in this country, that decision, I will give the power back to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Every decision, I would incorporate the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago in making laws for each and every one of us. I put that out to referendum. What should we put this? Let everybody give their opinion and then have a team. Let's just say people who experience within lawmaking and laws, whatever law it is, like lawyers and judges, and who have you then? Who will represent every portfolio within laws? Oversee something like that and come up with one statement afterwards, and let that be the last and final law. Because personally, I always say it, you are the only person who knows what's good for you. Sometimes you may not know what's good for you. That is why, as a collective, we will know what's good for each other, for everything. So your idea, my idea, his idea, the neighbor over there idea, everybody's ideas come together as one in every aspect of law and rules and regulation. I think that would be the best way to go in terms of taking this country forward. Let's make laws that will actually benefit us. And who else will know us? Us. We know what we need in this country. Let every constituency put somebody out who will represent the needs of that constituency, not by party, by an individual. Let the constituency choose that person. Let that person be responsible. So now you have accountability in making laws. There are so many things that we can do, like I keep saying, to change the narrative and to change the direction that we're going as a country and countrymen. So many simple things we can put into effect, but we merely look over because we think we need big things to make big changes. When there's one little axe will cut down a big tree. One little act will make a change, can make a change. And as a collective, we can be that change towards what we need in this country, not what we want, what we need. That's two different things. And that is the direction Trinidad should go in. Because you see, all of this pandering with race and every form of segregation, every single administration has purported on one level or the next, spare none. That needs to stop. I always tell people, nationally, you are Syrian, you're a red man, you're a Chinese. Wait, I say, I'm a Trini boy. Talk done. I'm a Trini. You understand? I mix with everything. Because the genes I might have in my big toe might be different to the genetic structure in my finger. First I mix. Understand? So I'm a full Trini. People ask me, what's your race? Trini. Why not let our nationality and be proud of it? Let that be our race. Stop saying Indo this, Afro that. To me, every time you start a conversation with saying my black brothers or my Indian brother, you're encouraging racism. Like I said before, the struggles of yesterday, that was yesterday. Forget that. Okay, let's learn a lesson off of it and move forward. But you know what? We don't need to be divided while moving forward. That is where we need to be. That is the kind of thinking we need to have in this country. We need to encourage the youths and every single body, every single one. Here's what. Why not you be you, I be me, and you and I could be we that have no separation? Why not? Like how it used to be a long time. Yeah, but those were the days of the Curtis Mattis TVs, black and white.
Well, I want to when we look at what happened in the Privy Council today, and I think people needs to listen to that very carefully. And two words come to mind that was said. He talked about a representative democracy. A representative democracy. And we have to understand what does it mean when we talk about a representative democracy, right? And they rule because the people made the decision in the local election to elect councillors, right? And when the government decided to change it after 3 years to extend them 1 year, the people had no decision in that process. So it no longer became a representative democracy. It now became a situation where the government decided what they wanted for the people. And in a representative democracy, it's people elect representative to make decisions on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we elect you to make decisions, right? However, when time comes to decisions for you to be, whether go back into office, again, we have to make that decision, and the government decided that they were going to make the decision, and the Privy Council, right, made it clear that this is not part of a representative democracy. You know, and we have to look at it. So, Matthew, if you don't mind, we have a gentleman joining us. We just decided this is a last minute thing. We have I don't know if this is going to be a surprise to you, Matthew, but we have Dr. Shane Mohammed, you know, who is a political scientist, you know,
Good
joining us.
evening. Good evening.
Just he's no stranger to individuals with that triplet. As a matter of fact, he's like one of our resident political activists.
Activist.
I'm a political scientist. My bad. My mistake on your era, Dr. Mohammed.
You want me to become a political activist?
Oh yeah. Yeah, the political activist. But before, Matthew, I was just talking about the decision that happened with the Privy Council. And I'm asking myself, it's 2023, and we had to go all the way to England in order for a set of people to make decisions for us that we should be making ourselves, or maybe we should have the CCJ, the criminal, what is the Caribbean Court of Justice? Is that what it is?
Caribbean Court of Justice, yeah.
Right, the Caribbean Court of Justice. What do you say, Matthew?
Well, I don't see the need for us to have to even leave Trinidad and Tobago, because one is technology has taken us to a point where we can have these things being done just like we are conversating right here, right now. You understand? So why leave the country? We should break away from that Westminster level of politics and have something new.
But we have something new.
No, what we I don't really think we have anything much new. We have things that been tried, tested, may or may not work, depending on the application. Now,
well, let me just interject. After listening to what the Lord said today, it's actually the first time in a long time I actually took the time to listen to a judgment from the Privy Council, and it made me think of something that I had not thought of before. And I have always been a very strong advocate for us moving to the Caribbean Court of Justice with regard to our jurisprudence in entirety, meaning both criminal and civil. And then I thought today that maybe we could end up with a system where constitutional matters in a revamped Trinidad and Tobago constitutional arrangement, we could still maintain good night, Rose, good night, everybody. We could still maintain the CCJ, and also where it pertains to matters of urgent public importance, the Constitution, we could resort to the CCJ, to the Privy Council. But I also have to remind myself that the Privy Council has said to Trinidad and Tobago that take your charge, your bundle, and leave. They've literally said that. We've been invited by the Privy Council to withdraw ourselves and our jurisprudence from the dockets of the Privy Council, because it is filling up their docket with matters that they no longer see as matters of importance, especially in the presence of a Caribbean Court of Justice. Now, to do that, it needs political will. We don't have political will in the current scheme of things. I just came off of of Facebook just browsing. And my God, you would swear to God that Kamala Prasad Bisasa won an election today.
But making it politics too bad, you know. Oh God.
The activists, I mean, I must be fair. I listened to the Attorney General, and the Attorney General went into detail to explain that the only part of the law that the law lords had a major issue with was the fact that we delayed the elections and we extended the life of the current complement of the incumbent councillors and aldermen, which they said was not in keeping with democratic processes and practices.
Representative democracy.
A representative democracy, and therefore, the election, the law is not bad law, but it should not apply to what exists currently, and that an election should be held. And I was like, okay, cool. I take that argument. I accept that. But you know, this speaks to a very larger picture and scenario, and that is that we are in desperate need of constitutional reform. And if we don't start singing that tune a little louder, we are not going to get constitutional reform in the way that we should. I had a class last night of about 35 MBA students, and it was about entrepreneurship and innovation. And what was supposed to be a business class turned into a political business class. And I had two foreigners, both Trinidadians, one living in Canada and one living in the States. And I asked the question. I said, you know, I understand that you all are frustrated with the system. You all are talking about your concerns about Trinidad and Tobago. Both those of you who are here working and trying to make a life of your own with regard to pursuing an advanced degrees. I said, but let me ask you this. If a new political party is to emerge with the right like-minded people, will you take the time to come to Trinidad and vote? And the answer was yes. So there is a level of expectation and excitement at the thought of something new emerging. The problem is the Trinidad, and I will say this without, I don't mean this in any, I don't mean this in an unpatriotic manner, but Trinidadians and Tobagonians, but more so Trinidadians, they are only starting to feel a slight pinch of hardship. They will only feel the real need to move away from the UNC and the PNM maybe next year.
You know, I just wanted to add a little something, right? You know, it saddened me to know that a simple thing as a local election, that the judicial system in Trinidad and Tobago could get it wrong.
Yeah.
And they got it wrong. They just got it wrong. So it leads me to believe that if there are outside influence with respect to these decisions in the judiciary, because if you could get it wrong, and it's simple, and I like how the gentlemen in England put it. They talk about a representative democracy, and those people were elected for a certain term, and when that term is up, you can't just go nilly-willy and extend those people's term because you decide you don't want to call a local election, right? And that is exactly what they were saying, right? So for the Attorney General to come and say, he could say what he wants. You understand? They get
But he
it
didn't lose the matter. This, to give him credit, he was not the Attorney General that piloted this bill.
No, well. At the end of the day, I talking about the government. I don't care whether it's he, Far Alice, Far Alwar, or
I feel pained. I feel pains for Reginald Amoy because he made a very good point today when
he's not a politician.
Yeah, he made that very clear today with Rhea Tate asking him a very political question. He said, I am not a politician, I am an attorney, and I am an attorney at law. And I think the reason why the Prime Minister went down the route of taking Reginald Amo is because he as well understands that Reggie Amo is well respected in the legal fraternity. And he brought Reggie Amo to undo all of the nonsense that Faris did. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be shocked if Rowley drunk and cussing in some corner tonight, you know. And today was cabinet. So worse yet, I wouldn't be shocked if somebody leak and tell me that the whole cabinet was cuss out and cuss away, you know, because that is if I was Prime Minister, I was cussing everybody. I was actually, in fact, I was firing Al-Rawi from the cabinet altogether.
Yeah, but I mean, you did say that you tried to bring Amor to undo all the nonsense that Al-Wari did. I mean,
yes,
all well and good and that, but could he undo the $30-something million in rent?
Oh no, he can't.
Oh
no, he can't. No, he
well,
can't.
that's one of the most important things that we need to
no,
focus on as well.
But listen, please note, in 2010, I want to say this, I will put this on record. I don't like to raise my political life because I see it as being the past. But in 2010, a young senator in the budget debate called Senator Shane Mohammed, in his maiden contribution in the Red House, raised the question as to who was Mr. Nahus, and raised the question as to why was a building being rented under that administration as well, and continued to be rented for the entire period of that administration, and nothing was occupying that building. You know what happened to that young senator after the sitting of that session of the Senate?
He wasn't a senator anymore.
He was not only not no, he continued being a senator, but he was publicly cussed in the presence of other members and ministers of government by a senior politician in the House of Representatives, right? So, you know, when I think about the UNC and I think about the PNM and I think about where I was and what I learned from a practical perspective, I say knowledge is power, whether it is good or bad. But we cannot continue down this road. And it is people like, and Marcus, it is people like you and your voices that need to get louder to assist voices like mine, that we need disruptive politics.
No, Senator Dr. Mohammed.
You're going back to 2010, Tommy. Tommy, you're Tommy rewinding, but you're rewinding, Tommy.
Dr. Mohammed. Now, we know, and you made it clear before, that change to the Constitution is required. And we know for sure, and we have seen it demonstrated thus far, that it's not working on a top-down approach. How do we get a bottom-up approach to have that done? Can we have the anarchists start a groundswell that could make something like this happen?
Well, I think I personally think we should start with judicial reform.
Yeah, but I'm saying top-down is not working. Bottom-up has to be the approach.
We can't start with judicial reform. We cannot start with judicial reform. At the bottom of the list, at the very base and the foundation of that building that's behind me, is constitutional reform.
That's what
from constitutional reform, you will then get judicial reform. You will get public sector reform.
I think you misunderstood what I said. I said constitutional reform is not working top down, meaning that the politicians in that building aren't making it happen. So we need the groundswell. We need people on the ground to make it, to push narrative and get it.
What we need is a think tank. What we need is a think tank of minds like Tommy, like anarchists. We need think tanks. We need persons who are influencers and who can catch on very quickly to the dialogue and the discourse. And we need people to be able to start explaining on their different platforms what is constitutional reform, why we need constitutional reform. And I'll tell you a simple thing. How will we capture the public sector by itself? We start telling the public sector that too many people have been acting for too long as if they're in Hollywood. And therefore, we need a reformed public sector and a reformed public service, one, where it is not beholden to the political directorate, two, where acting is no longer something that is existing, because you need to do an actual human resource audit of persons that are on no pay leave, on pre-retirement leave, on any kind of leave for any extended period of time, and automatically eliminate them from the service. And therefore you allow people to move up. On top of that, you need to let them know that you will not become a permanent secretary if you've been acting for 3 years on the recommendation of a minister. You will only become permanent secretary or deputy permanent secretary or any of the other positions in the hierarchy of the public service based on meritocracy and qualifications.
Yeah.
You see that language? Right. That language is that is a language that we need to start pushing. But
Matthew,
the time is not right.
Right, Matthew, just before Dr. Shane come in, I was going to ask you two, what are some of the solutions that you think that we need in Trinidad and Tobago to move the country, to a different place, so to speak? What are some of the solutions that you will say, as the anarchists?
Well, honestly, Shane nailed it, honestly, because I support everything that he says. But the reason why I said I would
so Shane, you know Matthew Gibbs?
I've seen him and I've seen his videos, and I have actually, put a little asterisk next to him saying, that's somebody we need to get politically active and partner with.
Well, you see, look at that, Matthew. You see, we join
in the village.
We join in forces here in the village. That's what it's about. It's about country, man.
Exactly. The village could turn into a constituency,
Oh,
the village could turn big,
Yeah, what I mean? We all for that. That's what we about, We seriously about that. We ain't joking. You know what I mean?
I've had a conversation with Jason Williams as well, and he's on standby.
JW.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And we having the economist coming on Saturday, Dr. Arjun, right?
He is somebody that he's my personal friend and colleague, and he's actually very interested. But unfortunately, I will say this as we are here, he doesn't know that he's only seeing PNM versus UNC. A lot of people are only seeing PNM versus UNC, yeah? And that's good. Let them continue to see PNM versus UNC, because when the bomb explodes of a new political entity rising with all of these vibrant new thoughts and thinkers and faces and personalities, it must be able to not plateau like something called the NTA. It must be a wave that must hit people, and it must start with the young people. It must be a political tsunami that we must first appeal to the public service and the young people, and we'll capture everybody else.
Yeah. And I was actually considering starting a party, I was actually considering giving some thought, because on my TikToks, many a time people have said that, so can you please start a political party? And
I've seen your TikToks.
And I'll tell you this. And they have
whole strain anarchist. Whole strain. Whole strain. You don't want to end up with something like the PEP or the NTA.
Nah, I good. I tell them that not right now. Not right now. Yeah.
It's interesting, right? That these are the type of discussions we should be having on a more ongoing basis, talking about how can we do things, right? Not talking about, use a PNM, use a UNC, use a PEP, use a COP, use a PDP. How can we
I don't care about what somebody is or was, I am more concerned about what that person could contribute to the bigger picture.
National.
And if it is
Well
that
said.
you are, if it is that you are capable and you have a reputation of being a good implementer, and if you have had a reputation as being a transformational thinker, and you can add to the discussion one, you could add to the manifesto two, you could add to the strategy three, you could add to the lineup four, you could add to the communication and the messaging five, then welcome aboard.
We're not looking for any. We're not looking for any transactional leaders.
I don't want. Not only are we're not only look. We're not looking for
we
posters
have too
and
many of them
selfies
already.
either.
We have too many of them. We don't need any more
Yes.
transactional leaders. But guys, I want you guys to stay for just a few more minutes. We're gonna go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us, we can say a political activist, Matthew Gibbs, and we have with us also the political scientist, Dr. Shane Mohammed. I get that right. Before I call Dr. Shane Mohammed a political activist.
and you didn't call him a senator either.
And I didn't call him a senator. I didn't say Senator Dr. Shane Mohammed. So stick and stay. It's Diana, Anselm, and Tommy. And you in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're going to go for a short break and we'll be right back after this break. Stick and stay. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. Tonight we have with us, political activist, Matthew Gibbs, joining us for the first time in the village. And I know he's going to be no stranger to In the Village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We also have no stranger to the village, Dr. Shane Mohammed.
Tommy, Anselm, you make me pull out my book, eh?
Matthew, you have a book, since he come in the village, you have a book. You have a book. Yeah. You have a book. Let me see what you have.
A building a library of names.
Okay, you going in the book.
And I just add Matthew Gibbs.
Yeah. Oh God, Matthew, why? Your name going in the book, boy, with the red house behind, boy. Matthew,
nice.
Matthew, you're inside, boy. You're inside. Matthew, you see a community village and you're going inside. That's a prestigious book,
Well, look, Jay. Yeah, fellas. It's best we can do this 2 or 3 times a week,
Hey, Matthew, Matthew, I was just thinking the same exact thing. I ain't lying to you.
Yeah. You can do this 2 or 3 times a week.
I'll tell you this though. Don't just have me and Matthew. Bring one of those fools.
Which one?
Anyone. You choose.
I don't know. Dr. Shane,
extend an invitation to any one of the fools.
I know what you're talking about. All right.
The ones that sit in this building behind me.
I love it.
I gotta try and pick one.
I love it.
But listen, I have to be honest with you, Matthew. When we went to the break, in that short break we take, I was thinking the same exact thing, boy. I was saying, boy, we have to have a little segment with Matthew and Dr. Mohammed. Just a little segment now. On a weekly basis, we had this little segment, and we could bring, as Dr. Mohammed said, we could bring in one of the fellas in the house behind Dr. Shane.
With the $500 million paying job.
Yeah. The 500 million. The 500 million. That
I wouldn't lie. I've been in it. I was fortunate to go in it before it was like this, and then I went in it just the other day I was invited to speak on we at the table and it was about young people at the table and having their say. I take pride in this building. Huh? I take pride in this building. Unfortunately, I think this building is suffering from something called battered woman syndrome. This building is taking too much of abuse from 41 fools.
Well, we have a special show for that. We have a special show for that. But just before we go, Nadia, if you're still there, Rose, Capiza, Eugene. Hey,
By the way,
Trinity.
I did my homework. I did my homework with regard to La Hoqueta Talparo. And there is a section of St. Helena that crosses into La Hoqueta Talparo. It is not a major section. It is not a major section, but there is a part. I went looking for the map, and I know, Capita, you can't make me ask when I know what about when I know my work.
All right. You make out Capita. You make him out. You make Capita. You expose you, boy. You get exposed, Captain.
When he said the river, when he said the borderline is the river, I said, okay, let me go look for the river. I look for the river, and there is a borderline, but that does not mean that part of St. Helena does not go into La Hoqueta Talparo.
Dr. Man, please don't come in the village and expose we captain in the village. I be captain.
Your captain look like he has been accustomed sitting in sinking ships.
Oh God, Cap, man calling you out my Cap. Trinidad, Rajvi, Capiza, yeah, you could still put in our clothes and come and don't worry yourself.
You still have a Capitan.
Mr. Gibbs, don't let Anselm warp you in Bacchanal and confusion.
Not me, nothing.
I invite you to the show to have cordial discussion. Don't let Anselm warp you in Bacchanal and confusion. He's a PNM, you know.
Matthew, let me tell you something. I came in when I first started on this show. I came in very good evening, good night, everybody. I came in and I was very diplomatic. At that time, on, I realized that the diplomacy has to go out, and we don't need to call it as it is.
We call it as it is in here. We call it
spade.
No problem. Yeah, and keep highlighting the issues. I will keep doing my little podcast, and we could do this 3 times a week if you also so choose, and make it into a live show and have calling section. People being more interactive, because that's what I wanted to do with Divided Opinions.
Listen to this,
Matthew. Matthew, you're still on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
I think you need to push the discussion on the need for constitutional reform and why it is important. If you need assistance, because I'm not on TikTok and I have been advised that I should not be on TikTok.
I on TikTok. I have over 5,000 followers.
I'm told that I don't have the personality to be on TikTok. I
on TikTok. Yeah. I have TikTok.
They're like Mohammed, you cannot be on TikTok, stay off of TikTok. I've asked more than once whether I should have a TikTok platform, and I prefer to have they say stick to Facebook. That is your platform. I said no problem. But if you need assistance with regard to the literature, with regard to the content as to what needs to be said, I am most willing to send you stuff that would help you with regard to getting people to understand why voting in 2025 cannot be the traditional voting. Because we are not, as I said the other day on my Facebook page, we are not hamsters running on a wheel for 60 years and 60 years to come.
Yeah,
but listen, I gotta say this is the start of something that Trinidad and Tobago sorely needs, right? And it's all a set of different ideas coming together. But the major thing that we resonate with all of us, it's about country.
Yeah.
You understand? That is the major thing that resonates for all of us. And it resonates for us here from day one. And it's continuous. And we don't care. We don't care which party you support.
Nope.
We really don't care. Yeah. We are telling you, you can support your party, but this is what we would like to see for the country. Right? At the end of the day, we are talking about country. So, folks, I have to say that we are very happy here in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. You know, and I think this is the start of something, you know, it could be a tsunami in politics in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
It could really be a tsunami because all of us have different strengths. You see? And if we put our strengths together, boy, I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're ready. I don't know.
They will have to be ready, you know. By the time you know, I listen to. I am withholding myself from commenting on the commissioner of police on my Facebook page, but I think the woman has convinced us, and at least has convinced me, that she has either very little intellectual capacity. I would love to.
Dr. Mohammed, oh God,
Very little.
She only 100 days, man. Give she a little more, man.
100 days too long. 100 days too long. Listen, the woman said today, I think it is today or yesterday, at a joint select committee meeting, the woman made it clear that the word was being able. Has she lost her mind? Has she really and truly lost her mind? But I'll tell you something. I will predict today that Erla Harewood Christopher will be a PNM candidate in 2025.
Whoa. And you know what, Shane? And you know what? I think you're right. I think you're right. Because you start off as a pawn and then they become a rookie, you know. And after you become a rookie, then become a bishop. But you still have to answer to the king and the queen. Everything, the art of war is knowing your opponents. And when you know your opponents, you will know the weaknesses. And you can conquer any land.
Erla Harewood Christopher. And watch me. I will, listen, you see that individual? I will make sure, I will do everything in my power to make sure that whatever seat she is fighting, she must get a cuttass like has never been seen before in this country because of the wreckage that is taking place in this country under her watch.
Yes. Yeah. No, I'm not saying Gary Griffith is the greatest man out, but
neither am I.
And I will say this for sure, and I'll say this unbiasedly. The mere fact that at one point in time, where he was who was actually saying, why Gary don't become prime minister? Why Gary don't be this? Look at Gary doing it. If only want action, call Gary. Gary this, Gary that, Gary that. As soon as Gary decided to start NTA and to dive into politics, is a different, everybody swinging it too. And that's why I can understand with Trinidadian people. All you want is to see good, you know, but you don't want good for each other. That is what that is the downfall.
We must know our strengths, though. We must know our strengths, and we must understand what we must do is we must know our strengths, and we must understand where our strengths lie and where our capabilities lie. Gary Griffith as Commissioner of Police, yes. Gary Griffith as Minister of National Security, most definitely. Gary Griffith as Prime Minister, hell no.
No.
Yeah. I have to say that. I totally agree with that. And I was one of the persons there, Matthew, right? You know me as the person who, they say I didn't like Gary Griffith for whatever reason. Because I brought up a point with Gary when he was, and Gary was here a few times too, and Gary, the only thing Gary didn't call me is, the only thing he didn't call me is call my mother. That's the only thing he didn't do.
Because you aggravated him, that's why.
He called me all.
No, but you see, you have to be able, and that is what my problem with and I did tell him when he lost the Commissioner of Police position. I picked up the phone and I called him and I said, Gary, we're friends, right? He said yes. He said, and because we're friends, I can tell you the truth, right? He said yes. I said, you look for what you get. He said, what do you mean? I said, you did not take Gary Griffith's leadership skills and walked in with it into the Commissioner of Police office. You took your teaching and your attitude and your behavior from Kamla Prasad Bisesa and walked into the Commissioner of Police's office. And he said, you know what? You're right. I screwed up. I said, yes, to the detriment of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. who still believe that you are capable of solving crime.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
this prime minister will rather die and rather lose an election, right? And rather walk on the streets of Port of Spain with blood running down the drain than to appoint you as commissioner of police. Instead, we have a woman. Unfortunately, he wanted to give us a history-making scene, right? So he gave us the first female president who went out of office without any legacy, and he has given us the first female commissioner of police, who is a complete and utter disgrace, a complete and utter the epitome of incompetence. And when I listen to the woman speak, I am concerned as to whether she did pass A levels or O levels.
Oh God. So listen. All right, so listen.
Shit, I like you, though. I really like you, man. I really like you, shit.
So
because here's what, your mouth have no cover just like mine, but I try my best. I really try to display that level of diploma. I really try.
No,
try.
but Matthew, you see, no, Matthew, we are. Let me tell you. You know why I have been told by journalists across the board. They say, Dr. Mohammed, you call it as it is. You are not afraid to say it as it is, and that is why we want to hear from you. And I thought at one point in time that diplomacy and being diplomatic was the way to go. But people don't want the old academics that are putting flowery language out there and masking things. If something is bullshit, it is bullshit.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No, I agree with you.
And
Because a lot of people contact me about my thing as well, and they tell me, "We know you so long. Be you. You're a ruthless SOB. You're a ruthless SOB. Be you.
Do it.
Stop trying to be nice. Stop trying to put sugar on shit." People tell me that.
Listen, sugar and shit will only get you backtrack and answer. You know?
Exactly. By the end of the day, shit is shit. A spade is a spade. Call it as it is. And you're right when you say our here and now commissioner of police is the Wikipedia's new definition of failure. Because have you ever seen somebody exist in the past, present, and future tense? Well, that is the failure of our police commissioner and administration right now.
Did she not read? Did you see this? Did you see her speech at the sports day when she said it was the TTPPS? I said, I said to myself, I'm trying to find it. Is it that we have become the Trinbagonian toilet paper prison service or police service?
But I think she was with Miss Kamla Prasad Bussessa before, because Kamla Prasad Bussessa the Barbados CTPS.
She may have just awoken from her slumber, or she may have had a few beverages.
No. I think she went in the fridge and get some water. I think that was it. So folks, Matthew and Dr. Mohammed, we definitely have to start a chat off air so we can continue this sort of discussion here on WZYE 95.9 FM. Now, Dr. Shane Mohammed is no stranger to In the Village, right? So, Matthew, the other thing too is that whenever we are on, if you think there's a subject and you want to jump in, you just send me a note. I saw Dr. Shane note and I didn't see it till late. So when I just saw the note and I just sent him the link. That's how we just work it. You understand?
Yeah.
You don't really have to.
And I had a feeling that you were talking about what happened today.
Yeah. So we just send the link and that's the story. We do things as we said here at the top of the hour. We originate, we don't imitate.
That's what I like. That's what I like, because I mean, like we agree, Anselm, if we could do this 2-3 times, at least 3 times minimum for the week, at least. I could record this, because I have my little small setup that I could use and get my backgrounds, everything, just like I've done in my videos, right? And I could put this on one of my installments under the Divided Opinion badge, because I'm coming out with my YouTube as well. So I will share everything everywhere.
Yeah,
and I am coming out with my show.
Right.
I'm
so
coming
we have
out
about
with my show in a couple of weeks as well.
Right. On YouTube, we already have like 4,700 subscribers on our YouTube page. You know, so we could do, listen, this is just the start. And you know what this reminds me of? It's like when we started with exile and stranded citizens. You understand? We started something that was about country. And here it is again. We are starting something that's about country again. So Shane, any closing comments before you go?
Matthew, I think it is a pleasure to finally meet you. I think
Same here.
we have work to do, and I think the collaboration would be a cataclysmic one. I think we need more like-minded persons like us. As I said to you, I'm building a name bank because we need patriots. We need patriots. We need people who are not thinking about themselves, and we need people who can influence the masses with their strengths, their various strengths, to come out and do what we need them to do.
Agreed.
So,
Agreed.
let's get it done.
Because I am about 100% with everything you just said right there. I am about 100% with that. But we have to exchange contacts. So if you want to message me through Facebook Messenger or anything like that, and I can send him a number there.
Rose has my number.
What we gonna do? We gonna set up a little WhatsApp group.
Please do.
5 of us on the WhatsApp group. You understand?
Yes.
So we could go back and forth. All right?
Because there's actually one group I was going to set up, and I was going to use the Signal app. It's the same creator of WhatsApp. The Signal app, and a lot of people are messaging me right now and ask me, have you had that chat group started yet? Because it was just to encourage conversations like this and for people to share ideas. So when I do a podcast or when I do a presentation, put it on social media, your comments will guide the direction in which I go. Because if you're in one part of Port of Spain and I'm in a different part of South, at least I could hear what you're saying. I'll know what your thoughts are, because I cannot physically be there. So I could bring your fight to the table. I could bring the country's fight to the table. And all of us could find solutions to fix. Watch me. It could be many sores, but we could have one good plaster that will ban up everything,
Correct. Listen, a successful surgery is done with great minds and great hands and like-minded, different specialists, right? So, and to answer Rose, I'm trying to figure out her name. I'll give you that much.
So Matthew and Dr. Mohammed, thank you guys very much. We're gonna lace off here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Matthew.
See you all again.
No problem, Diana.
Okay.
All right. Later.
Listen,
yeah. So folks, here we have it, boy. We starting a new movement. And the movement,
yeah, Anselm boy.
Yeah, the movement.
Look how things does work out, huh?
Easy.
Easy. Yeah, and you know what? I listen to Matthew a lot, and I say, I want to let me invite him on the show. The perspective from which he speaks, in a bacchanal and confusion,
Right, and I was looking through my thing, and I just saw Dr. Shane note.
He was messaging me, but the phone he's messaging me on, I'm using it to do on the program.
Right, so I saw it.
I couldn't respond.
So what it is, man, we just wanna do things where we could talk about country.
Yeah.
Right. And that is what we want to do at the end of the day. So let me see. Eugene says good night, Dr. Shane and Matthew. Rose says, Dr. Shane, now is always the best time. You know what I mean? Rose says, great idea, you all. Eugene says, good night, Dr. Mohammed and Mr. Gibbs. Very good discussion tonight. Hope for your ideas can resonate in TNT. You see, this is the 90% mean, Gene. You see? That's don't take people at their 10%. Yeah, you have to allow them that 10%. That is life, That is about life. That is life, Because we're not always going to agree. You understand? So, all right. Nadia says good night. Rose, I'm out, love. Yeah, Nadia, blessed night, Dr. Shane. Nadia. All right, I think that's it. Nadia said, blessed night. Tommy, Diana, Benskin, be safe. All right.
Good night,
yeah, closing words, Diana.
Oh, yeah, I had to drop out. You got my message earlier, right?
Yeah.
I just want to leave with a nation of sheep will beget a government of wolves. Edward Murrow. Good night, everybody. Be safe.
Yeah, thank you, Diana. And on that note that Diana said there was a quote. I heard it by Dr. Miles Monroe, but I don't think he was the one that actually originated the quote. Some people saying it's Alexander the Great. It says, an army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep.
Yep.
You repeat that. An army of sheep led by a lion will always defeat an army of lions led by a sheep. From where I sit, this is it. The clock on the wall said that's all I like to say, but I've got to go. Remember, hard work beats talent when talent does not work hard. And for every 60 seconds of anger, you lose 1 minute of happiness. See you. Same WZYE time, same WZYE channel. Go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, my quote is from Curtis Strange. He's a golfer. He says, under pressure, the most important thing I have to remember is to breathe. Again, he says, under pressure, the most important thing I have to remember is to breathe. Again, I'd like to say thanks to everyone for being a part of the village this evening. It was very interesting and informative. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand to come up. Never look down on a person unless you're giving them a hand to come up. Love you all. Love you all. Good night.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you. All right. Good night. Drew says good night. Be safe, everyone. All right. So we're gonna go to the with Crazy We, and this is what we're talking about. We're talking about we. It's all about we. It's not about you and I. It's about.
Did you do the villagers' closing comments?
Yeah, there was just a few. Me and Gina had one. Rose had one. Nadia had one. And the rest, there was no other closing comments. Yeah. So good night, folks. Yeah.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have fought a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we.